Ahead of a key interest rate decision from the Fed and a look at inflation and the possibility of tapering being sped up this afternoon at 2 p.m. We're seeing futures little change so far this morning. We just got November retail sales data out this morning as well. We'll have a look at how that came in coming up here in a second. Market trying to head back to the upside here. We're basically flat, though, ahead of the Fed. Again, 2 p.m. we'll get the statement. 2 p.m. we'll get the interest rate decision. 2:30 then we'll get the press conference with Jerome Powell, where questions can be asked and things can be said as well. We'll talk about that coming up. Markets coming off another negative showing yesterday. All three U.S. markets to the downside. The Dow off about 100 points, 106 total. S&P 0.75. The NASDAQ led the way again. It was the tech group in negative territory, 1.1%. We'll have a look at some big name tech stocks coming up here this morning as well. As I said, November retail sales data just out. We'll have a look at that. Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft, though, all very negative yesterday. Setting up here a little bit better this morning. Apple already trying to get back to the upside. It's Wednesday, December 15th, 2021. TraderTV.live starts now. Yeah, there we go. Look at how things stand at this point. As I said, pretty flat right across the board. We're trying to get back into positive territory there. Retail sales on a month-over-month data basis for November, 0.3% versus 0.8% expected. 0.3 on the ex-autos number versus 0.9 expected as well. Otherwise, it has been a bit of a disappointing number there for November retail sales. That's a look at the rest of the board as well. Crude oil, 1% already to the downside. Bit of a slide yesterday. Bitcoin and Ethereum back in negative territory. What a week it's been for cryptocurrencies to kick things off. Something very exciting is happening over at the desk this morning. So let's bring in the guys here and.
What's happening?
Please share, guys. Please share. What's going on?
Oh, no. So actually, we're just.
I thought, yeah.
Sean,
ahead.
for some reason, and I'm pretty sure this is normal, but Sean thinks that usually he's on the other side in the position board. But that's right.
Because if I'm sitting here, then mine's on the bottom. I always thought I was on the left, but maybe it's not.
I'm pretty sure it's always been.
Who cares? Anyways, Brandon, that's the exciting stuff.
No, there was something else.
Oh, the guy knocking on the door.
Well, yeah, the guy knocking on the door. The Elon Musk, also the Elon Musk ad that we were just looking at.
Yeah, we looked over at Natalie over here, and she's watching our video, and then there's some Elon Musk in a bathtub or something ad showed up. Did that show up for you guys? Like, I don't know what's going on. And then also, I'm going to take a picture of it, but in our fridge right now, I don't know if you noticed, there's literally like 45 1-liter cartons of milk in there.
45?
Right now. Yeah, you go look. I'm going to count them out. I'm going to tweet out a picture, and I know why. It's because our I don't want to say lunch lady, but she's going to be off for a couple weeks. So I think she pre-ordered an S ton of milk. So
yeah, well, because you need.
Yeah, because I Cheers.
I drink mine black, obviously.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not obviously.
I drink mine white. No,
anyways, should be a fun day today. Look, we got Fed. Clearly, the faster taper, the possibility that there could be some hints of, I guess, rate hikes early, in the first half of the year, I guess, would be the negative thing for the market if that would be suggested. There's not too much in the way of earnings, but I know we have Adobe, which got crushed yesterday. Adobe's going to be before market tomorrow. I think, before market tomorrow. I'm not sure, or after market today. I'm pretty sure it's before market tomorrow. So there is a lot to get through. That CFEI is going to be in play again today. Well, not again, but back in play after the deal with DWAC. So let's see if we can't get this party started on a hump day.
There's some news here. There's some news here about Roku here. Universal Electronic International Trade Commission bans imports of Roku products and sale of Roku products. So somebody banning Roku right now. It doesn't seem like it's doing that much. It's down 2% here, but that's just a recent headline. I don't want to spoil it for Brendo, but it just came out there. We also had retail sales come out, and then I've also put up on the sticky note today, and I think it's kind of obvious that it's just going to be a slow AM here, and then we'll wait for 2 p.m. to come through. There's a few different names on the list. They're not different, but they're different for me, like CFEI, Ocugen, things like that have actual news and reasons to move. I think that's what we got to look for. It may be a pretty stale market until that 2 p.m., Brendo.
Just reading that Roku note there. Yeah, there was a bit of a downtick here now. A little bit of delayed response there, but yeah, Universal Electronics International Trade Commission bans import and sale of Roku products. So 3% here for Roku. It's worth noting, guys, there was also both JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley out with price target cuts on Roku today. So yeah, a little bit of negative pressure so far for ROKU. Before we get in too far, Miss V is here once again. Good morning.
Good morning, team. Happy trading to you all. It's going to be an exciting, busy day, and I wish you to stay in a profitable territory. Please like this video, and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, let's get started, guys. Lots to discuss here coming up in the next hour or so as we head towards the open. Yeah, here we go. Accelerating now a little bit more to the downside on that note, guys. I am unfamiliar with the International Trade Commission and the Universal Electronics, but apparently that, along with a couple of price target cuts, not good for Roku.
Apparently not. Also, be very, very careful, because when we pull this one up, like at the moment John brought the story, there was a $3 spread on Roku. It's tightened up down here at the bottom, which makes sense. Yesterday's low, 211. I'm not terribly familiar with them either, Brendan, so don't feel too bad. But 210, 211 looks like a pretty key level. Like the only thing that keeps you from wanting a breakdown here today is the market's trying to get back up. A, B, you just traveled down $10. C, the volume is 45,000. That's not a heck of a lot. So this is not a gigantic amount of selling. As a matter of fact, on my chart, you can, if I were to do this on my 15-minute, like you could actually see just how tiny the volume is. Like it's a little tiny blip. You can barely, it doesn't even make it off in front of the position board, which kind of tells you not a huge volume spike there, guys. So I'd be very, very careful trading this. I think I would definitely short, given what happened, like it's pulled back and given everything from the huge run it had last week. I definitely shorted in front of this 220 to 225, but hopefully it gives you that kind of pop. It just doesn't seem like that's going to be likely here.
I mean, we went right down to yesterday's bottom, so we'll see here on Roku. I don't know, when these stories kind of break, it's tough to figure this out because we don't really have enough news. Like, to me, this is supposed to be really, like, that's really bad. Like, bans the import of and sale of Roku products. Like, what is that? International trade. So anyways, with just sitting here trying to figure it out, the one thing here is that if you are trading, use limit orders, don't use market orders, because right now you do have about $1.20 in spread, and then when it actually starts to move, it was picking up to like $2.50, $3. So a big difference between seeing, like right now it's $2.50. So big difference between getting short at $214.50 or something like that person just put in, and then getting it out or whatever on these different levels, right? And understand also that look at the share sizes that are going through. A lot of these numbers on here will be sub 100 shares. So when you see 100 on there, that's just a minimum lot that they can post. That could be like, one share or something like that. So just watch, I don't think it'd be one share, but 10 shares. So like there's a 5 share print going through and so on and so forth. So volume's not super strong here on Roku, but hey, another name to look at. So that's nice. And like you just mentioned there, Neil, yeah, what a great move last week on the YouTube news up to 260 and then basically giving it all back as if they didn't get the YouTube deal done. So I don't know, man. I think the best way to invest in a lot of these names right now, and I've said this already and I've dipped my toes in, I just think ARK and some of the ETFs that maybe hold some of these crazier high valuation names like a Roku, like any name that's trading on price to sales right now is just getting absolutely crushed because no one wants to. Now it's at 210. Wow. Now we're starting to get a move here on Roku. Yeah, any name that are trading on price to sales like a Palantir, an Upstart, and a Firm. Like a Firm is back to $100, Yeah. Upstart's back to, what is it, 140 or something from 400. So any of these names that are trading on price to sales are getting absolutely destroyed every single day. If you don't have earnings, if you don't make something, if you don't produce something, if you don't sell something right now, you're getting absolutely destroyed.
Well, make money selling it.
Well, yeah, well, exactly. But like a widget thing, like C3 AI, like great company. There's all these great companies. Virgin Galactic, I don't know if Virgin Galactic is a great company, but all these companies right now that are being priced on future. Like, do you know that I was listening to Jim Cramer last night this morning, and on Mad Money, Dutch Bros, there was, I think it was Goldman Sachs or something, upgraded them, but they put a $10 higher price target, 2037. Like that's 15 years from now. So I don't know what to expect here, but anyways, now Roku, wow, we were just talking, when it started
like now it's like 208, and this is the problem. Like that was a good level for a break, but you're not, like, I don't know if you're taking a 211 break. It's at this time in the pre-market with an hour to go to the open, like the spread, it's a tricky trade. I'm canceling it's not gonna pop now, so I'm not shorting any pops because it's not gonna pop.
The thing is, although we don't have it, what other show is going to give you, like as soon as that news broke, I read it to you, and just because it was on me, Neil would have done the same thing, and so would have Brendan, right? I mean, and you guys already on the chat are like, wow, thank you, I'm short, just crushed that. And that's what we're doing, right, man? We're giving you this news live, and I should have traded it, we all should have traded it, but those of you that did, congratulations.
So this is a patent infringement suit, it would appear, guys. So this is the actual press release. So this Universal Electronics Incorporated, which is UEIC on the NASDAQ, FYI, popped up to the upside on that news as well, had a court case going back to the beginning of this year that they've come out with a favorable decision on. So it's actually, it looks like a patent infringement case for Roku there. So the International Trade Commission stepping in once the decision was finalized. So yeah, not good. But UEIC, 881 shares traded so far. So that sums up that story so far. Let's talk about some tech names. We were mentioning yesterday the significance of the move in Microsoft, the significance in the move of CRM, which was down 3.8%, 3.26 at the end of the day there for Microsoft. Big day to the downside, dragged down the Dow almost back to recent lows anyways. But those two alone made up the biggest move on the Dow. Going to be interesting to see what happens today. I mean, we'll preface all of this by saying there's probably not going to be much ahead of 2 p.m.
Yeah, you guys know, by now, if you haven't recognized that when you have a Fed day, especially one which people are expecting could be a bit of a market mover here today. You do tend to have an AM, like Sean said, it's a little bit slower, but CRM's right back at 250, man. Well, close enough to 250. That 200 period moving average, what bounced so well off of before. I'm already sort of locked and loaded. I don't have my order. I oddly enough have an order on Adobe of all things. If it got to its 200 period moving average, I'm bidding in front of that, and I will likely have a bid in front of CRM. It's close enough, it's within spitting distance that I don't want to sit there on the bid in the pre-market. I'd rather it hopefully open up and then try to catch a bounce off 250. It's just, you look for support like that. Also on a Fed day, you can have that opportunity a lot of times where there might not be as much the volatility at the open, so some of these levels might get respected because the slowing, any selling that comes in would be slowed down. Obviously, you're coming into a market which is flat to slightly up on the day, so it's not as if I'm sitting here thinking it's going to be doom and gloom. We're going to fall down $4 here, and put in a big and put in a 4 or 5% move to the downside on CRM when the market is flat. I'm just going to be prepared for it because 250 was such a fantastic level. The last time it came down here, I mean, it just snapped right back up after the open. Took a little bit longer the previous time before, but clearly the 200 period moving average also had nice round psychological number of 250. I like it for CRM. Not a ton of pre-market volume either. That's why I'm holding off getting any bids out. But at the open, if it gets there, I'm all over it.
Okay, so I just got into Roblox here. Brendan mentioned daily active users, 50 million, so 49.4. It looks like it's going to be down. Bookings are down. 208 million versus 211 million. August was lower as well. So November, 208 versus 211. August, 219. And this is another company that makes no money, by the way. 219 versus 222. Yeah, not good. Daily active users, plus 30, I'm just reading this, plus 35% year over year to 49.4 million. So maybe, and not maybe, I mean, it's obviously a miss here for Roblox, whatever they were trying to do here, releasing some of their numbers. And so there it goes, a fall down now 8p on Roblox. And you're touching, I mean, this is
right there.
Yeah, it's right here. But I mean, again, you still have this 95 area, a little bit of a concern. And again, we just talked about this earlier. You want to be in companies that are making money, that are, actually doing something, maybe have some tangible products. And that's not really going to be Roblox. But we're long at 99.68 here. Let's see. That seems to be a little bit too dramatic, but in this environment, who knows? But we're going to be long we are long Roblox right now. So let's see where it goes. I don't mind getting out for $1 or something, or for a couple dollars, and maybe holding the rest. So on my sticky note today is the biggest name on here, besides a few other things here. And here's today's sticky note. So you could see very light trading this morning. We have Fed at 2 p.m., right? So how about I put a bear here. How about Microsoft, if you can't tell, looking at 330 yesterday. So I think that if we can rebound in the market, that's what we're going to like. So I'll put that sticky note up, and you guys can grab that if you want or have a quick look at it. But CFVI.
The problem is it's a cuddly bear, so you can't really tell that it's like bear.
Yeah, I mean, I
bear
could turn him in. Here it is. What's up, Bear?
Yeah. It's just,
we had a name for it. We had Benny, but then apparently Benny the Bear is a mascot somewhere. I think it's a baseball team. Someone said Benny.
Really? It must be a minor league team.
I don't know. And so we need to get a name, and it can't be Brendan. And I don't know. It can't really be a B. I don't know. We can figure it out. But maybe we'll put a poll up. What should the Bears' name be? But
Brandon.
Okay. So there's Microsoft, and of course my chart doesn't load. But a nice move down for Microsoft yesterday, down 3 and a bit percent. Touches the 50-period moving average. It's basically never broken. I mean, you can see where it broke right here. That's what I was going to say. If you break that 50-period moving average, it will get bought up. Microsoft is in gaming. They're in cloud. They're in AI. I mean, these guys have everything, and I really love Microsoft. And it's not talking about my book. It's just buying high quality names. And I think as long as you're buying high quality names, you'll be fine. I did not buy any Microsoft yesterday. I'm advising don't do anything until today. We'll see what happens tonight at that 2 p.m. But if the market wants to go, people will flight to quality. And I think that Microsoft right here at 330, that's 329.70 yesterday. We got up as high as that right at the close. We bounced around 330 right there. So I think a 330 take on Softy is something that I'm definitely interested in.
It's interesting on that, just a note on Roblox, all of those numbers that just came out were all increases over prior forecasts. So they released, if we could show that, Robbie, there quickly. There we go, up here. Everything that they just released was an increase from prior numbers, it would appear anyway. So some forecasts coming out there for Roblox, but maybe not high enough. Yeah, BlackBerry. We were just kind of wishing Arun's BlackBerry a happy life, a happy retirement, I guess, as he awaits his new phone yesterday. But BlackBerry up on an agreement with BMW this morning, not smartphone related. This is obviously software related. So a nice little look here, up 3.5% for BlackBerry.
I was just asking Sean if Arun actually got his in.
He's joining. So he was waiting for the white Pixel Pro, which was going to take him until, I think now it was extended to January. So he couldn't get that one. So he switched over to the black Pixel. So he's going to get that today or tomorrow, he said.
Can't care too much about
yeah, so that's the one I have. So I told him he's going to absolutely love it. Okay, BlackBerry up to $9. Yeah, again, like nothing wrong with picking up some BlackBerry here on some decent news with BMW. So I like this play. You're right at the bottom. Obviously, a lot of these names have gotten hit. It's hard to recommend, again, another company that is not great as far as PE and all this kind of stuff is concerned. I'll have to look that up before I say that. But again, it's been pretty consistently stuck between 11 and 10, basically. And then we dipped below, I guess, 11 and 9, I guess. And then just recently we dipped below 9, just to where we were back here in May as well. So it's been a little bit of a, pretty consistently, blasé 6 months or so for BlackBerry, but they get this news. That might be enough to get them going. We can check the short interest on it. That might be something that gives me a little bit of pause there for concern if it's not super high. But if the short interest is high, I don't think even 4% is enough to squeeze this stock higher. I don't think people that are short are going to be too worried about a 4% bump up, especially on a day like today where we know this market can move. So let's wait on BlackBerry, but it's taken out 9. The high, I don't think that 930 is going to matter. It might matter, but I'm not going to use that top wick as anything. Maybe a 9 break, something like that. This is New York, so we can see here on the imbalance locator. Let's just call that up quickly. DD as a sell, NEO as a sell. I don't see BlackBerry on here. So, I mean, look at these volumes, guys. We don't even have anything like a DD at 250,000 shares, like for a $6 stock. I mean, that equity number is so low. NEO as well. So it looks like it is going to be a slow day. I don't see anything here on BlackBerry.
Yeah, it doesn't even have that much momentum here going through that 9 level. Back to the downside even. I would have been looking at 950. Yeah, that's a double top from last week, and I think that's going to be the interesting one. I just finished saying there's no chance that Roku was going to come in, given how far it had dropped. And the next thing you know, Roku bounced. all the way back up to like 216. I actually was able to just sit on the offer. When the spread opened up, when Sean brought the story and it was down at 213, the spread opened up, it was 216 that was on the offer. That was that $3 spread. So when it came back up again, 216 is where the resistance is. I'm going to see if I can't scalp a few bucks out of this, like pre-market here down around 213 for a couple, and then just hold on to the rest. Looks like a pretty negative story to me, obviously. And that 210 area, you would have liked to see it hold below because that was a big price on the 15-minute chart. So there are some signs of strength. There was a question Omar in the chat was asking about GMTX. I've been scalping it in this range, like 330s into the 310 to 315. My stop is actually lower than the high, like high day is 367, and this range here, like this real top is 355. But I'm going to get out if it breaks like a 340. I don't even want to give it 20 to 30 cents on that trade. It is very strong, and try not to confuse GMTX with GRTX, both a couple of small cap gappers, and they're pretty much exactly the same price, which does make things even more confusing.
All right, a few analyst moves to pass along this morning, guys. Upgrades and downgrades today. Travel name on here, Booking.com, Claris, UPS. I was reading a note. There's actually a couple of positive notes on UPS talking about the holiday season. Lots of people shipping things during it. Hexo, Domino's. Yeah, DPZ I saw quite negative in the pre-market. Regeneron and Comcast to the downside.
They're downgrading a weed company, a pizza company, and a cable company. I mean, what is everybody going to be doing over the holidays? I mean, that's what people do, right? You order the pizza. I don't know. I think that's
eat better than pizza over the holidays.
Do you? Yeah. I mean, obviously on Christmas Day you do. What else is on there? Booking.com, Cisco, UPS on the upgrade as well. So, I mean, they're downgrading Domino's. I mean, DPZ has been just an absolute monster of a stock. But I mean, again, I haven't looked at it in a little bit. Down 3%. Let's just check out what Domino's is up to here. Yeah. Okay. I mean, this is what I mean. It's just been an absolute beast here. Domino's back in March 330 all the way up to 540. If we are going back to, unfortunately, some kind of a lockdown situation again. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't think so. But, if we get back into that, I think Domino's would work in that environment as well. Their huge online presence. Really surprised at a downgrade to see if we get, looks like we will probably get to $500. I just think it's really, really risky to do anything with Domino's is a solid name, so I don't have a problem with that. I think you can even buy Domino's on any kind of a dip. Like, that would have been pretty sweet there. Anytime you get under the 50 period, I think on a good quality company, as long as not much has changed as far as the story, and I'll have to see why it was downgraded. But again, I just think that their online presence is huge. They have the delivery system obviously in place. So I like Domino's Pizza, and I think that might be a mistake, but I haven't read the report. So anything under the 50 period I think is a buy. You get Domino's like 470, 480 down here, a good trade. But again, so much can change today when we're going to have the tapering news come out, hopefully, from the Fed. We'll see if they're just as hawkish, and then we'll see if they touch the interest rate. But for right now, that seems to be a mistake. Domino's, and then on the other side, I guess it was UPS caught an upgrade, which is nice. I mean, that makes sense. These names have been beat up a little bit, UPS, FedEx, things like that, on the downside. And again, coming into the holiday season, I don't think there's any need for it to be even really at this 50 period. But again, it's not a crazy mover. I mean, it's been moving like nuts. Some of these days, 179 up to 218. It looks like we have a top here around 220. So there's at least 10% more of a move here in UPS. Nice upgrade, and I think that makes sense as well.
Yeah, it was actually just a question someone was asking in the chat. Was it Goldman asking about Williams-Sonoma at its 200 period? So, I mean, this daily chart, like when it loads up, it actually has to load the 200 period. It's actually broken. That's the only reason I wanted to point it up. It broke that level sort of already and is holding a support at a 165. And if you continue that downward trend, I think you're headed out to this double bottom at 150, which is the breakout price. That looks like a much more interesting level for a bounce for me. I suppose the flip side of a trade like that would be taking it as it breaks back above the 175, which could be post-Fed, which could be a little bit stronger of a move in that regard. So either way, we don't mind talking about names like this. I happen to have looked at Williams-Sonoma recently anyways. But yeah, I mean, I think 150 on Williams-Sonoma makes a little bit more sense. This wasn't an upgrade or downgrade, just got a question there in the chat. And yeah, pretty solid company. I like what they do as well. Anyone that's ever had if you've been married and done the registry thing, it's like everyone's done Williams. It's one of those.
If I've been married?
You know what I mean? Anyone that's done the whole registry thing, Williams-Sonoma is like that go-to kind of place for it. But
I think it's a buy at these levels.
Yeah,
the only problem is it's high end, right? And I think that in this environment, it's tough.
And that's sort of the problem. You can wait for it to break back above or let it travel into deeper support at 150. It just kind of feels like you're in a little bit of no man's land today. Why not play with the momentum instead of trying to fight it? This CFVI I really thought was going to be doing a heck of a lot more pre-market, man. It's just sitting here doing nothing.
Lowe's, staying in retail land. We saw a couple of retailers yesterday and the day before as well to make note of. Very, very strong. But Lowe's here catching a bit of a move to the downside. Broke 250, which was notable right out of the gate. Couldn't even get back to 248 here. They came out with a updated Q4 forecast talking about lower basically everything right across the board here, blaming some of the restrictions as far as supply chain for some issues. So Lowe's, another one, under a bit of pressure here, 2.2%.
I was just calling up Walmart stock here, but 2.2%. Yeah, I mean, I just look at Home Depot as well. Whenever you look at Lowe's, you kind of tend to do that. Yeah, I don't know. What is it going to print? 247? Yeah, I mean, you're right here again. It's so tough for me to sit here and honestly talk about what to expect when I don't really know, what this Fed is going to do today. I know that seems like a cop-out, but honestly, it's like, if they raise interest rates today, even just a quarter point, I don't know if that's, you know what? I'm going to
0% chance they're raising rates.
That's what I was going to say.
But it's whether it's two.
Let me go to investing.com.
2 hikes or 3 hikes next year, right. I think is what we're concerned
about.
Like,
plot.
Yeah, the plot. Like, because a lot of people are saying that it's baked in that it's going to be 3 when aggressive to others would be if it was 2. So I think that's kind of where we're at here, because the speed of the they're not raising rates till the taper is done, and they're pushing up the taper deadline to be done by March, right? So if they were done by March, in theory, you would think there would be 3 rate hikes next year, not 2. But again, that's the kind of thing we're doing
here's the Fed rate monitor here. So this is just it's 91% that I guess that they're not going to change it, right? So between 0 and 0.25, that's what we're at right now. If we jump it up, there's going to be about 9% there chance. So this is the investing.com Fed rate monitor. I'll put this in here. It's not going to change today, but I'll put it in the chat just in case you guys want to look at this. And they do go, there's January, they change it. I mean, this will all change today, but as you go. So there it is, March 16th here. They say it's about 60-40 or even worse than that. You even have a possible bump to 7.5 there in March and so on and so forth. And then as it goes out, you see it gets all convoluted here, March, May, and it just keeps going. So yeah, this is an interesting website. It's kind of my go-to for that. There are some better ones out there where you don't have to get all the ads and everything.
That one's fine.
No, it's fine. They're all the same. They all draw. I should have saw where they draw from, but they all draw from the same source. So it's like, I guess it's a crowd source there, and they just put on what people think. So it looks like we're going to get 90% that there's going to be no change there. Could they surprise? Of course. And I think it's more about the tapering. How many billions of dollars will they take away from bond buying and things like that coming through today? So we're going to, I mean, honestly, we could sit here and predict things, but I don't know. I think that they came out really hawkish 2 weeks ago with the Fed, and then now you're going to see like the triple Qs and the NASDAQ 100, which is right here, has pulled back. Like we said, the valuations on some of these NASDAQ stocks have been blown, upside a little bit. Not on the big names. Like, I still consider Google and even Meta and Microsoft all value stocks. I mean, if you back out some of the cash that these companies have, then yeah, they are a value stock just by its own definition. And the triple Qs are still above, guys. Even though right now we are still above the 50-period moving average, there's tons of stock. Like we talked about your short Roku right now. There's so many names that are like way down here, if not a lot lower than that. And the NASDAQ, because of the big boys, has held up amazing. Do you know that 52%, I think, of the S&P 500 of the NASDAQ, sorry, is in 7 names? So 52% of the NASDAQ 100 is in 7 names. So that's why it's very, very hard to look at the triple Qs and give a good gauge of what a lot of the market's doing, because it's just held up by those 7 names. And if you look at the other 93 names in the NASDAQ 100, you probably would see a much more depreciated asset class. So yeah, very, very difficult to trade the NASDAQ if you're not bullish on those 7 names.
And that's why we talk about, like, we've been in a bear market for a bit of a while now. Is if you take out like those the biggest names that are holding up this market. So that's why everyone's like, oh my God, like my stock's getting crushed. Well, it's just if you have these high growth names which were so fantastic last year, then you're under a little bit of pressure. But there are things that are holding up, right? Like healthcare, for the most part. I mean, health has been doing pretty good. Eli Lilly's up a bunch today. They're pretty good, solid company. I was surprised to see Bristol Myers at the value that it is. So there are things out there that you can definitely get yourself into that are a bit more defensive.
But banks have been great.
Yeah, banks have been fantastic as well. But
everything's been great. It's those highs.
Yes.
It's those sales, price to sales.
Yeah, and we almost lost. Look, you all made money on those on the way up, right? So you have to understand, as fast as they went up, they can come down. This Roku is on the way back down. I said I'd scalp some, and I took some out at 213. I got a bid down here for low a day, just on the off chance that it gives you. This wick never happened. It never went to 220, or I'd be short 219. But it turned at 217. I got the 16 short. I don't want to be necessarily sitting in this one, too far after the open here, because I think there could be another play. So if I can get a push down, get out, try to re-enter it, maybe at an even better price on the open in case it happens to pop up, just taking advantage of news, which is what you have to do here today. Speaking of which, I think you got more, Brendo?
Yeah, I was just going to check out. Bitcoin back below 48. We got above 48 late overnight, during the overnight period, I guess, with the back below. 35 Ventures announcing a partnership with Coinbase. Not much of a reaction here. We did get back towards 258, 259 yesterday for Coin, guys. So another one to watch today.
My chart's not showing the pre-market in Coinbase. Anyways, it doesn't. At the open, I just happen to know Coinbase did break the downside and then got back up through that 250 level. But the big but is, where are we sitting? 47.5. So we found some support, Bitcoin, right on that that's a couple of Saturdays ago, where we had that wipeout bottom. 46,000 was that lower high. That looks like it's just been supported. That's the level you don't want to break. If that level breaks, I think Coinbase is probably going to retest those recent lows. My 15-minute doesn't want to go past the 6th for some reason. But this is what we're talking about here. It's like a double bottom, 244, 245 area. Also a bottom here in the middle of October that got you the run to 370. Monstrous level. It's definitely a good consolidation. I think if it dips down to that price, it looks good to me, as long as we're not breaking through a key support on Bitcoin, or maybe, in Bitcoin in particular. That's what I usually end up watching. But you have to look at both, I do think, because you step in front of a level like that, and if a big move is happening and a big support ends up breaking on Bitcoin, well, you might as well allow it to come back above that level instead of just trading Coinbase blindly. But I do like this 243, 244 area. It's been good support before. Hopefully catching a bit of a bounce there can work as well.
So, what does Kevin Durant have anything to do with Coinbase? This is Kevin Durant's company, so I don't understand why this would move it or anything like that. It's 35 Ventures, so that is Kevin Durant, co-CEO. I don't know. I think Coinbase, we've talked about this. We're going to have Kevin O'Leary on. What day is it today? The 15th or the 28th. So in 2 weeks. And I think this is going to be, from what I've heard, spoiler alert, I think Coinbase is going to be his pick when I ask him what his pick of 2022 is. He's been sort of pumping Coinbase. And, I don't know. I cannot believe, anyways, talk about a fluke. I sold some Coinbase here at 360, which was a complete fluke. And then not a fluke. It was on earnings. And I talked about why we came all the way back to this crazy price here on IPO day. And to me, that was just okay, I'm just going to get out now, because we're able to buy it on the way down and then get it out on the way up. But unfortunately, we didn't get out of everything. We didn't know what the earnings were going to be. And then, of course, it comes crashing back down, just like how we bought Roblox at 77 and then got it out on the upside there when that went up. Same thing with Coinbase here. I still think we flirt with some of these bottoms until Coinbase gets it all sorted out. But again, I like it. I like the custodial side. I like the fact that they can hopefully figure out how to lend and things like that. And I know that there's back and forth with the SEC and some various institutions there about what Coinbase is going to be allowed and not allowed to do. But they're listing more and more coins every single day. It continues to be I think it's going to be a go-to for people signing up. And we had, what was it, Sam Bankman-Fried, I think was his name, on, and he was talking about, you know, FTX, again, another solid company where you may want to trade your crypto through. And I think Coinbase, again, another big name there. When I asked him about cold storage, he said, like, as long as you're on a decent server, you should be okay.
You know what's pretty cool? It's like not too long after we had Sam Bankman-Fried on our show, he was then in front of Congress doing a fantastic job. As a matter of fact, for anybody that didn't check out some of that testimony, you will be pleasantly surprised.
That'd be me.
At the quality, no word of a lie, at the quality of questions by some of the members. Like, it wasn't one of those, oh, these guys have no idea what they're talking about, they're not asking the right questions. It was actually somewhat intelligent, a decent discussion, at least from what I watched. I didn't watch it all, let's be real.
This is a donkey, and it says on it, big ass fans. So I think this is probably a company that gave this to us here. So big ass fans, donkey. So every bad trade today, I'm going to be bringing up the donkey.
Donkey squad.
Let's, on that note, talk about what's moving around as far as the watch list is concerned. Just watching a couple of these little ones moving this morning. That's the link, guys. If you're looking for an absolutely free resource, we send it out every morning before we come on at 8:30. Free. No charge whatsoever. All you have to do is register with a email address. Top of the list today, some of these cloud stocks got hit pretty hard yesterday. Adobe included, Nets, ZS. I mean, we talked about the NASDAQ listing change for Zscaler coming up at the end of the week, but JP Morgan lowering their 2022 full year outlook on the entire cloud space today, or I guess it was aftermarket yesterday, but some of these under pressure once again today, guys.
Yeah, I mean, one of those reporting, you know, Adobe is going to be reporting, like I said, not aftermarket, I think, yeah, before market tomorrow morning, either way, before tomorrow's session. And it just got down to that 600 support. And look, the cloud names have been absolutely booming. You guys know that. So, you know, I mean, Oracle's still doing pretty good with their turnaround. But, you know, Adobe, this is, you know, it looked like it was on the way after that recent flush that we had, right on the way back to possibly getting back to that all-time high, this harsh reversal. And again, this is just it's a valuation thing. It's something about Adobe being a bad company. It's just sometimes these things get expensive, man, and then you get these pullbacks. Now I'm sitting in front of the 200 period moving average, which it's a bit of a stretch to think that it gets down there, but on a 200 break, you know, I'd really like that long if I can get it. I just want to quickly show you the daily. It is in front of that 200 period. It's the same thing with, I want to say it's a Cloudflare, so Net. Same thing. They're right off that 200 period as well. So a couple of trades. If we get another leg down in these cloud names, then I want to be trying to buy the dip, at least in the morning on those. And, Ocugen, how am I in 4 positions? It's supposed to be a slow day, man. Oh my goodness. Ocugen just broke $5 to the downside. Look at that slippage. It slipped to 95. That stinks. Would have liked to get like 97 or 98 or something like that. But Ocugen just broke $5, which was support all morning. They're on the watch list as well. You go to yesterday's action, and then it had at about 11 o'clock, and I wasn't trading it yesterday. I can pull up the chart and see. At about 11 o'clock, it had a high here at about 95, 96. So looking for it to just be a momentum play, breaking that 5, kind of a gap up and fade. The volume wasn't that great on the gap up in terms of holding it, so that was just a simple $5 break for me on Ocugen.
So yeah, I have Palantir up here. A lot of people talking about that on the chat as well. So yeah, we have an 18. This is the daily. That's not what I want. I want a 20-minute chart. Where's my 20-minute? There it is. We do have some kind of support here, I believe. Anyways, we did dip down in that bloodbath early, and this is what's going to happen. The stocks are going to go up and down. We did have a nice rally yesterday after the open. So if we dip down again, all these opens, most of the moves down here on Palantir are off the open. So we'll see if we can get one again back down here to 18.20, and then just use 18 as our stop. But we may. You know what? I'm going to lower my shares because we may use the 1780, yesterday's very bottom, as the stop. But I'm just nervous again because this is one of those names, man, where I think you got to pick some up now. But I wouldn't load the boat up until we find out what exactly happens here today. There's a lot of people asking for that Sam Bankman-Fried interview. So bang, there it is right there. I just put it up on. Thank you to Natalie for that. Just put it up on the chat there so you can check that out. I believe it was about 2 weeks ago or so. It was a great interview. And thanks for hooking that up again. There's some Wonderfy links and stuff like that there as well. So that's Sam Bankman-Fried. I just put that in there. Want me to look at SoFi? Okay, let's look at SoFi here. A few questions there because, again, we're talking about DeFi and new finance and everything like that. Look, I'm embarrassed that we didn't get out of SoFi. I tried. That's still Palantir, sort of this chart. I tried to get out of some SoFi, and I didn't try hard enough. I was waiting on the ask up here when it was at 24 bucks. Never got filled, and then it's just completely crushed to the downside. So again, these aren't big positions. I want to make this perfectly clear to everybody. Like in the swing account, like what we have is like a TFSA here, where you don't pay any taxes or anything like that on some of your accounts, and we don't have the PDT rule. You know, that's where I'm storing stocks like SoFi and Clover and all these little stupid names, PaySafe, that have just been getting absolutely demolished in hopes that maybe in, I don't know, 40 years, they go back up. So that's kind of what we're waiting for on those. We don't have any problems funding these accounts, things like that. So we don't have the PDT rule here. So anyways, I just think that if you can keep averaging into SoFi, I don't know where the bottoms are on some of these names, but again, like look how good this looks down here. You're into support, right? You're down well below the 50-period moving average. You've had so much pressure on a lot of these names, man, that, wow, I don't know where to go. I don't know what the book value is on a lot of these names. And, you know, we're obviously trading at very, very, I mean, it might even still be a high multiple. But, I mean, if it's trading at 14 now, what was the multiple when it was up at 24? So, I mean, so many of these names look so obvious that we should have sold them and not bought them that it's ridiculous. So let's hope for better days here on SoFi's and on a lot of these names like a PaySafe. Like, I mean, forget about that. What about a company that's been around for 25 years? What about PayPal down to 187? I mean, if you want to buy a high quality company that I believe is high quality as well, you know, look at this name. This is another name that I think you got to buy at this level. You're going to see 187 and be like, oh my God, it's so far down. But honestly, these stocks can go right back up just as fast as they came down. So let's see what happens today. But I think PayPal, SoFi, those kind of names should be bought at these current levels, at least nibbled on. And that's what I like to say.
All right, let's go to CF Acquisition Corporation, the Rumble SPAC, very active here in the pre-market, finalizing and officializing, I guess, is that a word, officializing? The Trump Media deal, which is going to see them distribute video for Truth Social when it does become a thing. So Rumble, guys, moving around here, CFVI.
Considering it's, first of all, I don't think that is a word, but I thought it would be doing a heck of a lot more than this. It's got $1 million in volume, got in front of this 1240 area, which is basically right here. It's a double, triple bottom this morning. You also had, going back to on Monday, the start of the week, this was the afternoon support level. So I kind of had that in the back of my mind. So afternoon support, you're going to gap up and see if you can't hold it here. Volume pretty good. I wouldn't put a stop at the 240 level just because I'll show you right there. Like, right under 240, there's like a 1240, there's a 1237 for 17,000 shares. I think everyone, if you only look at the chart there, right, like you're sitting there and it's like, oh, it breaks that low, you're going to get out. But I think that like 37, 35, both reasonable levels to watch there. I'm sitting in the long. Obviously, you can set up for a bit of a break of the high of the day as well. But on $1 million in volume, I really thought it would be bouncing, making bigger moves. I guess I could have scalped out for like 10 or 15 cents, but when you're trading this, you're looking for more than that. I think if it got through 13, all the reason in the world it could at least retest the aftermarket highs, you know, whether it's like that 1360 to 1390. But the volume, okay, it's just you're really not seeing the follow through, unfortunately. And it could do like Ocugen, where it just breaks here, and then I went to the short in Ocugen. I'm not going to reverse into the short in CFVI, though. I just feel like it would have better momentum, given that's been the truth in the past. Ocugen has had a history of if it doesn't go at the open, it tends to reverse pretty quickly.
Yeah, I was looking at, so I had a 13 break because at that point it was like near the high of the day, but I'm going to go long if it breaks 1275. Now it is starting to fade out. It's ticking down near, and my chart I only call it back to 730, so this is probably not the pre-market low, but you know, back down here to 730. At 730 is 1240 is the bottom, and we're right there right now with a spread of 8 cents. Can be a little bit dicey. Like I could get easily punched into the 1275 when break. So watch out for that. I think that CFVI again on the Rumble news, it makes sense. Let's see if this can be something, and if it is, then that's a great move. So I like CFVI down here. We'll see if it breaks. I'd rather play the momentum to the long side. There's going to be a few and far between crazy runners today, I think. but it doesn't mean that this can't go. So CFVI right now, I like this punch through 1275 on more news with DWAC, right? I mean, let's see what the momentum can carry itself through. It really hasn't done anything since the announcement. I mean, this is what a SPAC does, trades under 10 because its fair value is 10, and then all of a sudden, boom, they get that announcement with Rumble, and or that it's going to be turned into Rumble here on a SPAC. But if you look at all the SPAC plays recently, man, those are all been pretty garbage. So I don't really know what to think about this. I wouldn't hold this for the long term. But at the same time, you know, when DWAC first came out, it was the same thing. It was 12, 13, 14 bucks. And we saw that thing get blown up to 175 or something that first or second day, and then come back down to life and settle around 40 and 50. So can CFVI do that? Sure. Let's wait to see what happens here. And I like a 1275 break on this one.
On that Ocugen that Neil was mentioning there, there's the thing to understand, I think, with Ocugen today, there's no new additional products or vaccines in this case. They're talking about new data only on this Covaxin 6-month data that was still producing an immune response for COVID that's higher than most, which is surprising. It was better than a lot of companies have produced that I saw anyways. The FDA also currently reviewing Covaxin still for EUA in the US. So again, nothing new from the company other than an updated, I guess, reading on their vaccine.
And I'm kind of hoping it's like, obviously with the trade here on the 5 break to the downside, I'm kind of hoping it's nothing new in terms of how it reacts to any positive catalyst recently. The stock has just been in a free fall, and there's been, you know, a couple of up days spiked in here, but there's never been any sustained movement back through. You're already breaking, you know, what is pretty significant support at a $5 range. You can kind of go way back to see the significance, some support there in the past, and now you're going to take it out. Now, obviously, it did flush down through $5 in yesterday's action. It had a morning high at 5, and like I just pointed out, like that was that resistance point, turned into support pre-market, and then if it breaks down, we get the short. I'll hold it back to about 515 to 520. I prefer having an area stop on this one and make a bit of a judgment call of what the volume looks like there, and if it has enough of a bid, I can get out. Otherwise, I actually might decide that it's worth getting more shares in. I think that would be a little bit reckless, though, because if you look up here at this 535 area, that would scream a re-entry. So being short 495 here, I'd much rather make a decision between 15 and 20 and then make a test. If it goes again, save yourself like 10, 15 cents of growth, maybe even 20, and then try to get back into a short at a better price at the open. So Ocugen for me, when you look at that daily chart, and given what Brennan just said about the news there, I just think it does what it usually does, and that's continue to fall even after an initial spike. Now, if it goes at the open, like I can show you back here on Ocugen, or sorry, if it goes like this and like you did in the pre-market and goes parabolic, fair enough, but this is it at the open that same day, which is a pop and flush, and even then it's like a 20, 30 cent move up and then a flush for the rest of the day. So I'm even anticipating that could happen as well. So in 4 positions, not what I thought. One of those Roku was because, you know, Sean brought you the news. That kind of came out of nowhere for us, but the rest all on the watch list.
Let me just go load this up here and just see, because I like Ocugen through 530 or 5. What did I write down here on the sticky note? I wrote down 520. So break of 520, we're going to go long through Ocugen. OCGN, let me just see. Oops, OCGN. Let's just see what the short interest is, and there it is right there. So according to our friends at Trade Ideas, and shout out to Michael Doss, I believe he's going to come on this Friday. I don't know. But he'll be on. We've been a great guest of ours talking technicals and things like that. So Trade Ideas has it, and I'm sure Brennan has something similar to this on Icon, and then there's also FinViz has them up. But 22% short interest there on Ocugen. So, you know, can it go? Sure. Variants are all the rage right now. Here's 520 yesterday, you know, coming into play again today. 525, I guess, was the high yesterday before we faded out all day, but nothing to do with Ocugen. I told you, it's just this market. You can't blame a stock for heading to the downside today or any day in the last month or so. So I think that with news, we take this out again. So let's go a 520 break here. It should be really 525, 530, but if you take the 520, at least you have it back out here around 5, where we've kind of dipped around to. So I like OCGN here through that level. So we only have 12 minutes to go right now. Let me just call up the imbalance locator quickly to see if there's anything's changed on here. DD still a sell. Yeah, it's just at yesterday's low right now, so I'm not that probably doesn't affect the stock. And then again, Pfizer was at or near all-time highs again, 56 bucks. I keep saying all-time highs. I'll have to double check to see if that is true.
I say that all the time. You know what ends up happening is like you start thinking about things over in terms of the last year or two.
No, it's pretty much all-time highs.
Yeah, it is. No, that's all-time highs. I made the mistake yesterday. Yeah, well, not yesterday, on Monday, saying that about Ford, and it's like...
Oh, yeah. Ford is at 20-year highs. I know that because of the stock. But, again, I don't know, like, when I look at this is actually pretty depressing. Like, I don't really know. There must be some splits in here somewhere, because if you're telling me that Pfizer back in 2000 was at $45, and today you're only at 55, I mean... You know, this is why passive investing, honestly, is not a super great idea, man. I mean, I know they pay dividends all through here, so that's been good, 3% a year. But wow, I wonder if that is true, because that's pretty. This is a monthly chart here going back to 2000. Pfizer's basically been a dog. Like, this was probably during, what's that pill? Oh my God. Viagra, that's what it is. And you might think I stalled there on purpose, but I really forgot. But maybe that's what this was all about. I don't know. It seems like that might make sense in 2000. I don't know how long ago that was, but that was Pfizer's big guy there.
Yeah, and then
it moved down, and then like wow, if that's true, I wonder if there is some splits here in Pfizer, because that's not a very that's a little interesting there. But anyways, back over to you, Brendo. That's the monthly on Pfizer.
Yeah, actually, I was just looking. I don't see any splits whatsoever going back to at least the beginning of 2000s anyway. So, interesting move for Pfizer there. That's not a great look over a monthly chart. Let's go to Nucor. Nucor down here on light volume, 3.5% though in the pre-market. They just updated their Q4 forecast a little bit less than had been predicted the last time. So that came out here, 119. We're down to 114 again. Not really trading a lot though.
I mean, we were just talking. I mean, you remember yesterday, Brendan? We were just, and I was like, "Oh my God, Nucor's up to 120 again. Maybe we should sell it." And I even called you out, Austin, on there, because I know that Austin was buying Nucor with me down here at 95. It's now like, how many times? Like, you want to talk about, you know, being passive investing here? Like, I've seen Nucor go for me from 95. Obviously, it hasn't come back down, or I'd buy more down here where we bought it. Not literally 95.40 or something is what's in my account. It's gone up to 120 once. Dipped back down to 108, went back to 120 again, dipped back down to 104, went back to 120 yesterday, and now back down in here again. So I may just wind up selling this thing. I like it. I like for the exposure. I'm obviously overweighted in tech, and Nucor gives you that steel exposure. Obviously, with infrastructure kicking around, the infrastructure bill, we expect a big 2022, 23, 24, 25. Expect a lot of building happening there stateside. You guys should know that, as most of our viewers are American. There should be a lot of talk about that over there. So I don't know. I like Nucor. I think it's good for steel. I know Neil has U.S. Steel. I think you do still.
Not much. I mean, U.S. Steel's more volatile because they're far more exposed. They're far more exposed of those names to actual spot prices. So they're a little bit more volatile, and it was heavily short sold as well. So last year you'd see a lot of momentum. Nucor's probably the better long-term hold, whereas U.S. Steel, I think you want to be getting in and out actively. If Nucor was closer to this 110, I'd have a trade for it today, buying the dip. But I don't know, like in this range, it's almost like it's a fade off 120 because that's been resistance. So I don't know. It might be a pass for me today, unless somehow magically maybe we see 110. I have no idea, but that seems like the level you want to buy in front of.
Apple, guys, we'll touch on some tech names if we can here quickly. Apple, red to green in the pre-market very briefly. We're only up 0.3%, but 175 was an area of concern yesterday. Going to be interesting, obviously, when the Fed comes out this afternoon, what happens to the Apples of the world, what happens to the chip makers as well, all pretty active once again yesterday.
97.30. Yeah, I just want to, people asking about this Roblox. So Roblox came out with, I guess, worse than expected daily, monthly active users, I guess it was. And then some of the money there as well. I think it was 208 versus 211. They didn't hit on some metrics today. So people saying, like, why are they down 10% when they had great earnings? This is not about their earnings report. So anyways, I'm going to take another long here at 97. I'm just going to get out if it breaks through 96. I mean, I don't, people asking, is the selling done? Like, honestly, day trading mom, like, I have no idea where this is going to go. I mean, and I just don't want to hold it. Here we go. I'm going to take another long right now, hopefully. I'm bidding 97 flat here. So if we get that in, that should be, I mean, maybe Maybe I just got to bid a little bit higher. Oh, anyways, we'll probably flush down and we'll get it. Yeah, like this is 95, 96. So I don't know. I just don't want to hold this for too far. If it does break through 96, I will get out of some of this and then try to hold and then really just see what it does down here, like at 93. I mean, there's really nothing to do. It came down to this 50-period moving average. We took a stab at this. There we go. So now we should be, now we're longer there. We took a stab at this, and it looks like it's obviously continuing to fail. It's funny because I start the show talking like you don't want to buy any of these names that are not profitable, that don't actually sell anything, blah, blah, blah. And then the only name that I'm in here is Roblox. But again, it's not a heavy position. You're not going to get into this. We talked about the spread. The spread, although right now looks decent, you got to, I'm going to cancel my 96 because it's probably going to flush down here off the open. I'm going to give it to 95. And again, it's just more pain. Like I'm just enduring this pain. We'll see if it can rally back up. We're long at 98.60, so we're down $2 on this right now. To me, it's well worth the risk. But I mean, I don't know where it stops. So the only thing I can say is we've wicked down here to 93 a couple times before retracing back up. So go to at least break 93, and then I don't know from there. So just watch out. I don't really have anything to say. Obviously, I wish I was longer now. We took a risk on this thing early. Let me just show you my trade right here. It comes down here, breaks 100. We get long 99.70. Thought that was decent. We could have got it out for a little bit of a profit, but since then, it's just tank city down here. And I think the best I can do is show you that 93 level. So we'll have to wait. It's not a big position, but hey, still, we like to win on everything. So we'll wait for Roblox to open up, and hopefully we get a rally back up.
Yeah, 5 minutes to go. Brendan's got one of these two. Please do not get them mixed up. I'm in this GMTX, but I think Brendan, GRTX, the other small cap.
CFEI just broke. So we just got into CFEI here, breaking 75. So that was that break that we sort of thought was going to happen. We talked about this with Rumble, so here it goes right now. CFEI trying to take out 13. We'll put an offer near 13, get some out, and see if we can hold the rest. But over to the big screen now, Neil with Brendo.
Under 5 minutes ago. Yeah, GRTX, great trade yesterday. We were talking about 343.75, we'll call it, which is the top of this range. Above that, you're into the gap, remember? So there's a huge gap on the daily chart all the way back up to 7. So 340, 375, we'll watch that area again. And ended up being a great fade yesterday. This is 340, 375. Feel like a broken record, guys. Back over to you.
But that, that can be a good thing. That means you're looking at and honing in on the levels that make sense. And certainly, if you can go back to the same well and it works for you, you got to do it. BFRI, another gapper here today. I don't think it made the watch list. A bit of a late mover in the morning. And on volume at 8:45, it broke 7 even. With only 4 minutes to go, got to do this pretty quickly. If it gets through this level, this would be that pop and fade idea. The lower high from yesterday, 725 on BFRI. I think that's where you look for a pop and fade. If it breaks this, it's got some runway up to $8. So watch that 725 level on BFRI. That looks like it's going to be the big one. OCGN we're already in. And then the other name is, I'm in that GMTX, not GRTX, which Brendan just brought to your attention. In front of about 340, there was a bad wick that stopped me out. I got right back into it and scalping down to 310. I'll do the same thing going into the open here and short the pops. I'm going to cancel this one order and then wait until the open on it. But please, you don't want to mix these two up. Obviously, they're different companies, GMTX, GRTX, both around the same price as well. So let's see if we can't get these going. Roku has come all the way, almost all the way back.
Really?
I wasn't a bid in front of 208. It went to 209, and it's come all the way back to 216. But still, the spread, right now it's 45 cents, but the spread is opens up to $1 many times here. So be cautionary on that. Of course, they got that, I guess, that patent lawsuit there with the International Trade Association or Board or whatever the heck it's called. Brendan brought you the story. Negative news for Roku. It's only down 3%, but it has traveled a heck of a lot further than that. I'm also in that CFBI. Hopefully it'll be a good runner today. We are anticipating that it could have some decent momentum. I was asked about Tesla if I thought it was recovering to 1,000 in the chat. I'm going to assume you don't mean today because there's just absolutely... So yeah, I mean, I don't think we're getting to 1,000 today. I can't really see any reason. But this 975 to 980 area looks like an interesting resistance level. I just kind of feel like we could have a bit of a sell right off the open here on a Fed day, just a little bit of a risk off and looking for some dip buys. I'm on the bid in Adobe in front of the 200-period moving average. I'd like to see if I can't pick that one up. And there's one other one I'm looking at with less than 2 minutes to go. in the cloud space is Oracle. 98.50. Oh, come on, load, please load. 98.50 on Oracle. Where's my daily chart? 98.50 on Oracle. If you look at this recent breakout that it put in after earnings, it's now got a bit of a double bottom there at that price. So this is the pullback on the actual earnings. If it gets through that price, Oracle could be in for a bit of a fall. So this one also on my radar.
Someone mentioned, okay, so we're almost, anyways, someone mentioned something and we did get a super chat. I didn't mean to ignore it. And I actually asked what the news was on CGC. I didn't see anything going on CGC. So I can't recommend weed companies right now. That's insane because, I mean, you talk about profitable companies. I mean, I can't do that. And you want to talk about holding bags. I mean, the bags are infinite. Like we talked about using this donkey. I mean, some of those marijuana companies, and it doesn't matter. Grow Generation brands, I like that. I like everything there, but Grow Generation Corp. I like them, GRWG. I like CGC the best, but there's still nothing going on. Quickly here, the imbalance look at, and then we'll go to Brendan. People asking for this. Pfizer bid, NeoCell, DD Cell. They're starting to get a little bit bigger here. Looks like a couple Chinese names in Pfizer. Quickly, Brendan, what's up?
CGC guys selling a German unit, C3 cannabinoid compound company. So there was a headline there for CGC.
Yeah, so nothing burger, I don't think. Okay, Roblox coming back up, man. We're almost in the money now on Roblox. So let's see if this can go upside, man. We're long at 98.60. We've obviously doubled up our shares there. Take that 97 bid. Let's see where it goes. Palantir, wow, just tanked right here. So we just got a Palantir bid there at 18.20. So we'll see if we can get out of this one. But 18
firm on the move.
Yeah, let's go, guys.
That was 5, 4. Oh, Miss V on the bell. 2 and 1. That came pretty quickly. There we go.
Yes,
market is open. A firm also making a bit of a pop to the downside. 100 could be in play once again on the firm as it's already starting to fall.
Yeah, let's go, man. We are just absolutely destroying Palantir right now. Wow, Neil, that bid, like no idea how we got that. So let's take advantage of that ASAP. We just got out at 60 there on PLTR. So yes, sir, this one rocking and rolling. And let's go Roblox right now. Let's get the cash register going. Hopefully this can go to the upside. We're not ringing the Reggie yet, but hopefully can come up to about $100 and then we'd get out. But Palantir right now, wow, lucky fill off the open there. No idea what happened.
That's crazy. I mean, crazy bounce. You love those V-shaped bounces off the open if you can get them. CFVI did pop to 1290, it looks like, and then came right back into the refresh level, that 1240. I think it's a nice little buy in front. We already have it. Roku starting to work back down in the money, but I have to be aware of the fact that it did try to pop. So a pop and fade trade. I'm going to see if I can't get out in front of this 209. I don't need to be sitting here. It's already bounced twice off of those levels, so I might as well take the profit if I can bag it here in Roku. I mean, the pre-market news is fantastic, but you don't want to sit in this one forever. OCGN, which is the other short we got into, it tried to make a pop off the open, didn't really get anywhere. I'll try to get back in some more shares if it gives me like 06s and 7s, trying to get out in front of that 512 level if it does happen to break. And GRTX, yeah, that one's falling off pretty heavily. Didn't get into that when I got GMTX, which I wish would do the same thing. It's right here on the precipice. If it breaks 3, could be kaputs.
Uh-oh, NASDAQ trying to fall down here, so that's not going to be good, but it's trying. Roblox gets going. There it is. Did we just get out of Roblox? I don't know if we did or not, but no, we did not. We almost did there. 99 and change on RBLX, so that's a name that obviously we're interested in here moving forward. So Roblox, oh, come on. We almost got hit again on Roblox, so let's see if we can get that price going through for that. Palantir continues to be a nice one as well, as that's moving to the upside through 50s now. Really surprised here that the NASDAQ is sort of crank city right here to the downside, and we're able to get out with okay profits on a Palantir. So we got a nice bid there, and then Roblox, oh man, we just missed that 99, damn it. That sucks. We were at, what were we at, man? It went to 99.80. We were at 99.97, so a little too greedy there as Roblox now getting crushed.
Oh, we'll hit this one for, of course, now when I decide to get out that 209, take $7 on Roku, it decides to break that low of the day down to 207, so it's absolutely flushing. The news came through, and we're thankful that Sean got it to us pretty quick because it did eventually give you that short to pop, and it gave it to you 2 times right at that same 216, 217 level. OCGN is now moving back towards that $5. Well, it just broke that $5 mark, heading southbound. I'm not even on the bid just yet. As a matter of fact, I should get some bids in the 80s just to make sure we take some profit. This starting to head very far southbound. CRM didn't come in at all, so it looks like it held up pretty well. But a firm, which we had just talked about, when you mentioned Palantir, at the exact same time, a firm was making a move down back towards 100. Didn't quite get there, but it's still well on its way. That 100 level was pretty defensible the first time on a firm. The second time it got to 100, it flushed to 96. So this could be a pretty big level here for a firm. Of course, some of these tech names are going to be under pressure with the Fed coming today. And then BFRI, which I know a lot of you were watching in the pre-market, it just did that spike, broke 7, couldn't get through that 725. So it's right back here. Anytime you get a failure like that, I'm going to short it, give it to that high of the day. High of the day is 720. I'm going to give it to 725. I don't want to risk too much. If it breaks that 25, it's got runway to $8.
Yeah, let's go with Apple here as well. If we can get some Apple love through 175, maybe this market can finally battle back. Here, Apple's already ticked out to 176 here. The market just a nice move down. I don't know why this isn't loading to the backside. Change over. If you're a part of Day Trade the World, make sure you change your contract over. So there it is. We'll see if we can get Apple going here through 175 on a rebound in the market. I do like that. It really sucks that, I mean, I'm going to get punched out here at Roblox. Like, we just missed that Roblox trade up there. Ooh, thank you, Miss V. We like that right there. So we just missed that Roblox out, man. That really does suck. So we almost got out there at 99. Now we're having to deal with this thing on the upside, on the downside here. So we are going to get out some if it does break below 96, I believe. So we're going to wait out for that one. And there we just got into our Apple trade, breaking through 175. Let's hope that the market just didn't do a little loop-to-loop on us there, go up and then now coming right back down. So a nice little 175 break. It does go as high as 175.25 there. So maybe we'll take a piece out if that happens one more time. But right now we are long Monsieur Apple.
And BFRI does make that take of the high of the day there. That 720 level does go. If it'll load up for me very quickly before we go to Brendan. Reversed into the long, thinking there's room to about $8. As always, I mean, I'll scalp some out in front of that 50, 75s, things of that nature. But Brendan, you got a mover.
Change, SEAC, big mover the past couple of days on that Triller rumor that they're talking to merge with that Triller social media platform. 150 breaking there. Big volume spike came in for SEAC.
Hopefully this works out, and we'll be doing these backflips. Probably a little bit premature, but we just got to move to 750 on that BFRI. We did go short first, obviously, if that's going to be a hit. But reversing is something I've tried to do a little bit more if I think it's a good level. And just quickly over to the 15 minutes so you can see. Room to this lower high at $8, which I think could be in play. But it's got to break 750, obviously, to get there.
Yeah, boom. We're smoking right now, guys, as there goes Apple to the upside. We took it out at 175.40 for 40 cents. We'll wait to see if it can go high. There it is, 170. Let's go, Apple. Let's go, baby. Let's go WTF on this one. As Apple right now trying to go look at the futures. So they're going upside. That's why we buy Apple. You know, when you got to look over, you got to figure out, hey, what name is strong in this environment? We've talked about tech. We've talked about Apple, and there it goes. Bust to the upside. Apple be busting. Where's my man, Trader Prad, with that? Okay, so that's going to be a good one. And just to understand that we have all these different ones. I don't know where my reload thing is.
They're all over.
There's absolutely, I don't even know what to do anymore. So we'll just go thumbs up on this one. Yeah, there it is. I don't know. As CFVI, this doesn't make any sense to thumbs up because it's not a good trade. But CFVI right here, we did take another bid down here at 15. So we'll see. It's just right here now. We averaged into this. It does a huge fail off the open. We were waiting at 95. That didn't come through. And now if it breaks back down through 12, it looks like rumble, no rumble. Doesn't seem to matter right now for CFVI. So that's another name to watch out for here. Breaks through 12. We go.
And I got into the other one, of course. So I'm in that GMTX, and I just got GRTX as well. So I'll try my best not to get these mixed up. It's done the pop, the 930 opening pop. Hopefully it holds that lower high here, and then we'll see what happens. I mean, I just got the short at 328. So you'll see GMTX and GRTX. This is a new position, GRTX, whereas GMTX. This one has been sort of just fine, like working down in the money for me. And I'm probably holding on to this one, hopefully for the rest of the day. The FRI just broke that 750 level, so I should try to take some out on the northbound side of this. So sometimes you got to be able to reverse some of these. The momentum is very, very strong in BFRI, so I don't even know what some of these keys are. It's a slap shot, so I'm just going to hit the slap shot. It's hockey season. I guess I can get away with that. Although I don't know what's going to happen with the Olympics and the Canadian team playing, but we'll see what happens. Some NHLers not too interested. We'll see this year. But nice breakout in BFRI when it took out that 725. I wouldn't consider flipping back to a short until closer to $8 even. That is the big next big level on BFRI. And GRTX already working that last short that we just got into. So it's shaping up to be a pretty good one. So far, if you got the momentum names that are moving, the market's not doing a ton, kind of in a bit of an opening range, but this is why we went over the watch list, because everything that's on it seems to be making good moves.
Yeah, no, there's lots of stuff happening right now. We did not get out on a 96 break. We're going to use 95 as the roadblocks. I mean, I can't believe we almost got out again at 99. It ripped to 99 and put us in the money, and we didn't do anything about it. But look at the market, man. We're starting to crack right now. We just send ourselves down the toilet on CFBI right there. As that cracks below 12, we get out. Again, a hit is a hit, and that's not a good one, but, you know, whatever. We tried that pre-market trade. These aren't my specialty, and I don't think anybody, you know, if you held that break, I don't know. I don't know where it's going to go. I just don't want to risk that it goes all the way back down here. We have bigger fish to fry today. That is for damn sure. Including, let's go, guys. Let's hit the chicken dinner winner. Like, this is literally saving my day, like, by far here. As Palantir just, this was a bigger position for me because I didn't think it was going to come in. So we did take that. We talked about, remember I told you when the market opened up, I said we got a bid on it, Palantir, and what we were doing was going to wait until 1780. Well, you know, that didn't have to happen. So it comes right in here to yesterday's bottom. And we talked about that off the open. Remember we said Palantir will tank off the open. It tanks in the pre-market there. And then now just continuing to rip City. Apple still 20 cents in the money, but expecting for more. The high on Apple there, 176. Yesterday we got out for what, 70 cents? And then it ripped $3 for us. So I think we'll try to hold on to some Apple, but it looks like Roblox is going to get cranked out right here soon. What's up, B?
Another one with positive news in the pre-market here, VIR Biotechnology. Higher price, it's still a small cap, but higher priced here. VIR on the NASDAQ just made a day high there, broke 52 on big time volume. This is COVID and specifically Omicron related.
I was just thinking, Sean, someone dumped a bunch of tech like right at the open. I mean, NVIDIA here got dumped, and then the second, I guess they were done. It just shot to the upside. Up to 290 it got as high as. I'm looking back to this previous pre-market high, 285. That was the opening. Well, not the opening range, but just before the open, that was the top. If it finds any consolidation, even briefly at 285, right in this range, I'll see if I can't pick some of that up. But great run for this one, obviously. I mean, the shorts are all looking pretty good. Is Oxygen now back in the money for me? But BFRI, that long, the small cap long, just came right back into that breakout price. It's trying to go again, but keep in mind, $8 was a big level. It just stalled at $7.75. So if it gets up there again, I am covering this trade in front of $7.75. You know, certainly it has a chance that it might not even go. I'm going to get out if it retakes this $7.20 area. Do not need to hold out. When it rejects at a key level like that, a lot of times I'm looking for the reverse position. In this particular case, that's close enough to $8 that I want to make sure I'm getting out of that long if it breaks momentum down through VWAP. Still has a chance to bounce off VWAP. If it does, no reload, just getting out in front of $7.75. Oxygen looking just fine, like I mentioned there before. And just to check in on Tesla, it didn't go to 1,000, but it did have a nice spike at the open, right to 972, so pretty close to that 75 to 80 area that there could be some resistance on Tesla. Nice bounces. Like there's so many of these names you can pull up if you look at these charts, and they just flushed at the open a little bit and then caught fantastic bounces. I don't know if a lot of these are going to have the juice to retake the highs on a Fed day, because oftentimes you have muted ranges, which could suppress some of these, at least in the short term, from breaking out these highs. I looked at CRM as well. You know, that really didn't give you the dip, but it also made a bit of a breakout. I'm still going to be on the bid in front of 250 in case it flushes. Same thing with Adobe, even if it doesn't look like they're likely to come in.
What's up, Brent?
LOY I saw in the pre-market here out with some positive data on one of their drugs out recently as well. It was up here. 262 just took out that pre-market high again, up 5% for Eli Lilly.
Yeah, we were just talking about that one, and yeah, good name, and Neil mentioned that before, somewhere where you could hide out, maybe right now. Okay, so Roblox does break 95, but we get out, and this is what we always do, and we punch back long again, as it looks like that 95 might have been a pressure point there, but again, I don't know. This is going to be one that we'll lose on. I mean, we've been pretty good today trading so far, including Apple, 50 cents in the money, Palantir, 50 cents in the money, but Roblox is like out $3 basically right now, so this continues to be a problem. And we talked about CGC, and I said thank you very much, but a hard pass. CGC today, even on that news, down another 3%, 2.5%. So that's not continuing to work. That is for sure. AMC. So I liked AMC here today, breaking through $25, but unfortunately it dumped right to the downside here. And then now we're kind of at a nice level of 23 and change. So I think AMC is probably worth a long here off some of these bottoms. 23.50. I mean, that 23.50 is going to crack very, very soon. Let's go over to a 20-minute chart quick. quickly. What is that bottom? 23? Yeah, so I think we could test along here on AMC, see if 23 does hold. So let's go long AMC right now, see if that 23 holds, and then, we'll just work from that. Looks like it ticked down to 23.40. I think this is a decent spot right now, so let's take some AMC.
I'm gonna hit this key for Ocugen, which did now make its first flush. It's got some shares at 85, but you guys are asking about a lot of people are asking about AVCT near the high. Yes, 148 is the high, close enough to 45 to 50, that top end of the range. But also look at yesterday. Look at that bottom that you put in, not yesterday, on Monday. Last time I traded anyways, which was Monday, is that 155 level. So I think it could, even if it took out the high of the day, I'd need to see it get past that 155 before I would say it's truly breaking back out of that bottom end range. So I think it could be a bit of a long trap through a high of the day break that doesn't get through 155. And then it would be a short through that price level there. Now is the rest of that chart filling in here. And you can see that lower high down here was 150. So I think it's a bit of a trap through that high of the day. I wouldn't be going long on a breakout in that AVCT. I just mentioned Ocugen. I will now show it to you. There we go. Just got the first leg out there. I did not get that, that spike up to 510 for the reversal. Not the reversal, but the addition at the open. But first leg out at 485. We'll get some more shares out in front of 475. BFRI right back to break even. Hopefully that move isn't done. Still holding some of that long, but that could reverse pretty hard. So my stop is going to be at 720. Miss V.
Hey Neil, SIDU IPO, which went public yesterday, is halted to the upside. Could you guys take a look at SIDU for us?
That was moving yesterday. Yeah, I think that was moving yesterday. I remember
that's IPO, right?
Trader Prad was talking about it yesterday. So I don't know. We'll look at SIDU, but I just want to talk about AMC quickly. We do have that long now at 66. Obviously, when we were talking about it, it was at 50, but we did get 66, and it did just rip up to about 2380, 2390 there or so it's falling back down now. We'll wait to see if this one can work for it. Now it's come back in, so we are still long 66, and trying to use like some of these bottoms here as our, like that very bottom yesterday. And again, if I have to hold this $1, that's fine. I mean, we know what AMC can do, so we'll average it again here soon. We'll get some more shares. So I want to get some at the 50 level, and then as we drop down, let's not make the mistake of average. Let's wait until it gets to 23 now before we put some more on. So we'll see if it gets back to the downside here near 22.50 or so will probably be the stop. So if AMC wants to puke today, fine. But there it is, man, a nice little reload. And I don't have the reloaded thing on there, so we'll just go, we'll roll the dice. How about that one? We changed over the way we're doing this, but next time, hopefully, we can put the same. Well,
basically there's two different.
Yeah, there's two different.
We'll get into it, but we'll fix this because I can't find any of my good animations either. But this SIDU, this is a no-fly zone for me. 175,000 volume. It's already halted once. That is, this can be trusted. I didn't trade yesterday. I was off yesterday, guys. But you obviously already know. But that's just flush city. Multiple halts to the downside and then ending the day on lows, gapping lower, falling at the open and halting up. I don't know if I want this long, and shorting it when it's this thin almost seems crazy. I'll look back to this level. This is 1450, which when it really started to actually trade and hold itself up, 1450 was the clear resistance level. It gets to that price, and 1450 in front of 15. That seems like something I could dig my teeth into. Otherwise, let's go back to Brendan. He's got something.
Yeah, if you're going to be in that one, be on the long side. I think it's 3 million shares, guys. So it was a teeny tiny little IPO. 3 million shares at $5. It came out yesterday. Opened way higher and just fell apart. So yeah, be careful with that SIDU.
So right now we'll just go we'll go siren alert here because there goes AMC, man. We just took it out. We took out 2/3. We're out. 1/3 left on AMC. Boom, 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 boom. Yesterday we were going short. Today we learned our lessons. Thank you so much yesterday, guys, for slapping me around on that trade. Oh yeah, the face slap is the gorilla dance. That's right. It's
what?
I mean, we got to do a little bit better job of due diligence here when we trade, when we switch these things over. But we'll just go, mamma mia, because right now the pizza guy's working, so that's nice. And there it is, AMC quickly out there, and we'll just see what goes on here.
I found a good one.
Moving forward, you found one?
There we go. We got this one back. It's the power-up, little Super Mario action, which we can do. BFRI went right back up to that 775 again, so we were able to get the reversal out. I'm now out of BFRI. We did lose on the short, but we're at least able to get a decent portion of it back. I'll still be slightly down on the stock because I like these shorts. I'm obviously heavier into the short, and I do scalp out a lot of that trade. $8 monster level on BFRI if it were to get there, but this is now twice it's failed shy of that that 775 level. That GRTX starting to work pretty nicely here. We shorted it a couple of times on the pop at the open. Not to be mistaken with GMTX, just sitting in that one. It's been in the money the whole way. But GRTX is the one we've added twice, and then scalping some out in front of that low of the day. Next leg will be out in front of 310, and then if you can't guess, $3 even. This was a $2.70 stock. So even if it breaks $3, I'd only expect maybe another 10% before you get down to these levels from yesterday. So obviously it's got some support down there that I'd be covering pretty heavily in front of. And then the last one is this Occugen, which much like these other shorts, I wish I'd gotten reload into Occugen. I never did. 5 broke. I didn't take anything out till it got into the afternoon range from yesterday, and it's closed at 481. These bids down here, these 470s, that's the next leg down, obviously. So 75s and 70s, my next bids in front of Occugen. So that short working, as well as the market starting to reverse a little bit here.
Yeah, big time here. And we've just taken one last stab here at Apple. We'll average in one more time here there we go. We just took it 174. I do have another bid at 173.75. It just touched there. There we go. Now we're longer. Okay, if it breaks through 50, we're going to be gone. I don't really have anything here on Apple. 172 flat as the bottom. It's just going to be crazy to sit in here. And we talked about how Apple's weighting on all these indexes is absolutely monstrous, right? So as they want to start to sell the ES and all these plays through here, NASDAQ, everything starting to come to the downside right here, as you can see. Obviously, Apple going to get cracked. So we're not going to hold this through here it comes right here, 173.60, 173.50. We're going to get out. We're just going to play the 50. So we wind up losing on this, it looks like, anyways. But we did take at least a little 40 cents there. But taking 40 cents and then losing 70 cents is not going to be a good recipe for success. So we'll wait on that one. Palantir has come back in. We got the majority of them out up here. We're not going to be fooled. I mean, we've got lots out there as well. There goes Apple, so we'll flush Apple down again. Wow, some of these trades right now not really working out for the long in the market.
I got a great question I really want to address you, because I know it seems like, why would you not just hold on to Roku till eternity? And to be honest, that was news that came in while we were doing the pre-market prep. It was not on the list of stocks that I was planning on trading. It wasn't a stock that I had looked at in depth until the news came out. So when that happens and I'm playing flash news, as I like to call it, I guess, I don't know if other people call it that, but flash news, where it comes sort of out of nowhere and you're reacting to it, I like to just play inside of a range. And once we established it, once it was established, short the pop, and then try to cover some out in front of that first level. The first level of support when it went down was 213, and that was my first exit point. And then once it established a low, I was trying to actually get out in front of 207.50 at 208. And when it established a low at 209, I got out at 209. So I find it's a lot easier to play it that way instead of trying for the home runs, because truth of the matter is I didn't sit there doing a bunch of diligence on it. So I'm not going to try to hold it all day long as if I had that kind of a read. So everyone's going to trade differently. So I'm sure I'll look back at this trade at 11 o'clock or maybe even at 3 o'clock, and it'll look ridiculous to have gotten out. But you got to follow your plan at least as you see fit. That should work in GRTX. Again, like the names on the watch list, which we were looking at, I'm still holding on to half my GRTX at this point, sitting in front of the low of the day at $3, and I feel much more comfortable digging into it. NVIDIA did not find consolidation, or at least not much consolidation at 285. It broke it like 3 or 4 times, now following through. So the next level down is obviously going to be the low of the day. I mean, if 281 can hold on NVIDIA, I'd like to be able to try to pick it up there. You do have the 50 period. Sorry, this is not split adjusted, sitting at 278 as well. But if it can hold that first level, that would be just fine by me. The market, like we said, yes, it's moving down, only 0.5% on the NASDAQ, and it's still a Fed day. I would expect not as gigantic of a range, which means playing at the periphery on anything that's holding its low could be a decent idea, thinking that we're not going to break through in either direction until 2 o'clock.
Yeah, 2 o'clock is going to be very, very key here. Roblox battling back. We are now $1 in the money. We just need this thing to break through 97.50, and we made everything back on Roblox. So hopefully that can come up to the upside. Now, no idea. We are going to get out. Oops, my chart's not even over. That's Peloton. Oh, yeah, I want to talk about Peloton. Why isn't my Roblox chart loading? Yeah, so it's right here. We're just going to, there it is. There's an out. Yes, sir. Finally, yes, sir. We'll dance around a little bit now. Just wish we never, that's twice in a row, man. We got clapped. This always happens to me. I gotta figure this out. And so even as we go, like I got hit out there at the bottom. of that trade, and then we just got, I mean, it's the same candle. We got right back in and able to get it out. So unfortunately, we have that tick. And again, we're going to be as honest and as real as possible. Like, I have that tick. So Roblox right now needs to go up about another $1. We make it all back. But if I didn't tick out there, then wow, that would be nice. But hey, ifs and buts, right? We can't do anything about those. That's the trade that I have. So candies and nuts or something like that. I don't know.
What would be nuts?
I don't know. Ifs and buts are. What is
I'm not even looking at this. Yes, it's too early to be looking that up.
I don't know what that is, but okay. So there it is. So Palantir does bounce off some levels. It's coming right back into 50. I think this is a decent spot to get some out as the market right now trying to make a move back up. So I think we have Palantir. Maybe let's just wait. Let's see if we can get it out of VWAP. Here it comes right now, 55, 56. We will take a piece out there. Come on, Roblox. Roblox now $2 in the money and ripping up higher. So hopefully we can get out some Palantir right now off that. I do want to get into some AMD, 135 and change. Sure. SoFi, wow. Like, even, I mean, the market's down today, but some of these stocks, like all these names that we talk about, NEO down 4%, Nuvei Corp, Peloton, that's what I want to talk about, down 4%. I still believe in that name. Roblox down, Affirm down another 1.3%, Rivian down 3%, everything, BABA down 5% today. It just, MindMed, another all-time low at 150. Like, I mean, everything is getting
BABA is just straight trouble. I mean, those Chinese names are trouble. There was another report, well, maybe it wasn't a report, but another article I read this morning saying, give it a couple of years and it's kaputs for a lot of these Chinese listed names, and DD under pressure, but BABA that 5%. I think it's almost give up time for them. If you're looking for things that are strong right now, there is still that BFRI. Like, I got out of it because I think that $8 level seems like resistance, but it is holding up rather nicely with a current 779 high. So it's really trying to get going. If it makes another push through this high, this 780, and cannot break through, I think it could be, there it goes. That actually just made a push, but it still doesn't break through. Like, it gets through, then the sell comes right back in, and it goes right back below that 780. It does this a couple more times and can't sustain a bid. I'd be looking for a short off of that $8 level, but certainly it is showing some decent signs of strength here, and one of the few things I can find that is actually doing that. CRM, which is another one I was looking to get into, on the New York. Obviously, 250 is not going to come into play. It's just hanging out in front of that 254 bottom. If this were to crack, I think that 250 is in play. I'll give it one shot, maybe like a 254 change with a very, very tight stop to the low of the day, see if I can catch lightning in a bottle, because I am looking to be long the stock after that cloud kaputs, or whatever you want to call it, yesterday. But if those levels go, the real level I'd dig into is that 250, which has been fantastic support for CRM.
All right, so I think we're being a little silly here. Roblox, there it is. Yes, a $3 winner right now there for Roblox. So we're making it all back right now. We just take it out at 98. Hopefully, I was like, oh man, 98. I was waiting at 99. But now we can just hold the last piece and see if that does come through. Still can't believe we got out there. What up to Shannon Lopez? Thank you so much for the super chat. Need that pack of green? Yes, ma'am. We do. The #1 seed in the NFC right now. Packers 10-3. So they should be 11-2, but we all know what happened at COVID gate there. When Jordan Love almost beat Kansas City in KC, that was ridiculous. But anyways,
KC's overrated though.
Yeah, I think KC represents the AFC.
Because the AFC sucks.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right, so Palantir, okay, so a nice move back up. So anyways, we're not really talking about AMC. I should have, and I don't know where the reload. Rob, maybe you can I switch back or no, I can't? No, okay. I just want to get that reload button. We'll get that for the end of the day. Don't worry about it. But Palantir and AMC, I should have reloaded right there. I'll just do it manually. We're reloaded, but we're not. If AMC comes back down here to 23.50, didn't even notice that. We should have reloaded that. And I do like AMC here, especially if the market can battle back. We had some good feels for AMC yesterday, so let's see if that can battle back there. Palantir, we get that out at 52. Remember, we were saying maybe it continues to run. We are going to wait at 70 one more time to get out of the last piece, and then we'll hold a small piece if it can go up to the upside, because we are nervous, man. We still do have the Fed coming out, right?
Yep.
So you got to be careful about that. Microsoft is approaching a key level as well. And what about Tesla? You know, I dumped some Tesla, 20% of my position at 10.20, and yesterday it dipped down to like 9.30, I believe. Yeah, 9.30 was yesterday's bottom, and we've just sort of danced today. This is why I just want to call up Tesla. I don't know what happened to all my data here in the pre-market, so Tesla's not going to be a good stock to look at, but bounces around to 960. Watch out if Tesla breaks 950 to the downside. That might be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think you and I both, it's hard not to have sold any Tesla. I mean, I sold for the first time myself when it was up around that 12. I'm not sure why C3AI is going, so thank you guys for pointing this one out. I mean, you're seeing the NASDAQ fall, right? You're seeing all these other names under pressure, and C3AI is up 6%. It just took out 33, which is a daily, look, obviously the daily chart's going to be, it's not a pretty one for C3AI as it has been for a lot of growth names, but it's right back to this double, it's not really a double top because yesterday's high 33, but the afternoon on Monday, this was a hard top at that 3280, 33
AMC.
area. So without knowing what's going on here in C3I, usually I'd be shorting a level like this.
Buyback.
I can't say, there's a share buyback? Okay, I'm going to stay away from shorting this one. If it gets to 35, fair enough, but C3I with the share buyback,
Brandon.
Thank you guys. But big time move up 5.5%. Not a lot of these high valuation or non-profitable companies are strong, but a buyback is a good way to do it.
Yeah, I just called out to Brendan there, C3AI, so I don't know. We'll see if we can find out some more on that one. As someone said in the chat, buyback, so I don't.
100 million buyback? Okay.
We'll wait to see if that's true. Brendan's going to hit us up with that. AMC, man, not leaving. We'll see if you have diamond hands or not on AMC, as it is now up and rocking up right now. AMC up 70 cents in the money right now, so it's going to be a good one here. And I told you, remember yesterday, those of you that have watched today and now yesterday and now today, I told you it was the trade of the day. I said we'd switch up our thought here on AMC, and there it is for another long. What's up, Brendo?
I was just going to mention, guys, I actually saw this in the pre-market, but kind of shrugged it off because it didn't do anything. It spiked up and then came all the way back down. But here we go, day highs. 100 million buyback over 18 months from Trade the News there for C3AI, guys.
All right.
I was just asked where my out is. J Doe. That standing for John by any chance? No, obviously. Fun name there in the chat. Where's my out on GMTX? I don't have an obvious one. I'm sitting in front of 260, but I think it could be reasonable. If it bases out here 275, this is my 15-minute chart. If it bases out in front of 275, the recent resistance level, then fine. I'll probably just get it out in front like 77s or 80s or something like that. But just hanging on to, the market's coming down, so I'm kind of just hanging on to the three shorts that we have and then being very picky about where we try to find some of those bottoms. And BFRI here, that's the one that I wanted the reversal short at some point. Now it's back at VWAP. I'm not going to chase it all the way down here. Certainly it did stall shy of that $8 that we talked about. Made some of it back going reversal to the long side, but that is a stock that I'm down on, obviously, because I shorted it initially, and I'm not going to jump in too quickly back into the other side of that trade. NVIDIA, here comes the test. Whoa, here comes for real that test of the low of the day as it's getting down towards that 281 level. If it holds 280, I'd like to see if I can't do a quick dip buy, but if the market's coming back in that hard, there's a decent chance. Nope. I actually thought when I saw NVIDIA do that and the NASDAQ continuing to fall, that CRM would be back down at that 254 and I could dip buy that. It looks like I just missed my chance. That actually bounced $2. So some relative strength, I think, here in CRM. NVIDIA just put a big red candle in, though.
I don't know what the heck is going on with NVIDIA. We'll have to look at that. All right, just looking at my email. We'll go back to trading. This is what I want to do. We want to barbecue up some profits here on Palantir. Like I honestly, this, and again, sometimes you got to be lucky to be good and good to be lucky and all that kind of stuff. But we did put an order right here at yesterday's bottom, and it wasn't even yesterday's bottom. Well, it was closer. Actually, it was. Sorry, yesterday's bottom there, based off the open. Obviously, it ripped up. So yesterday's intraday bottom, I guess, of 1820, and that's where we got filled, man. I mean, it just came in there. We got filled off the open, and I think someone said on the chat that I was lucky, and I don't know if they're talking about this print, but I agree with you, man. I mean, just as I consider myself unlucky to get stopped out there, as now Roblox $3 in the money was $5 in the money up there. But I consider myself pretty lucky, obviously, to hit that. Unlucky to hit that, but we were able to get back in, and that's how trading works, man. Sometimes you get bad wicks, you get bad trades, and other times you get good ones. And there it is right there. We talked about getting out at that high again, and we do that. So there's another out at 70. And we don't show our share sizes or anything, but I told you that if it comes back up here, we were going to empty it out and then hold hold a small piece in case it does run. So there it is right there. I want to talk about Nucor. At least I want to look at this. How many times? Like, we're long at 95. It's gone up to 120 a few times. Today they reaffirmed guidance to the lower side. So possibly a 110.50 break on Nucor. I still think 7% is too much for this name. You know what's an interesting name here? We talked about this in the pre-market, but what about SoFi?
It's down 7. What? Sorry.
Not down 7%. No, Nucor is down 7%. But SoFi still down 3%, 2%. It was down almost 2.5% at the bottom. But I did want to look at this because it's right here again. It's like right at 14. So I don't know, man. And I can't recommend buying these really in this environment. But at these levels for a day trade, kind of hard to resist going long SoFi. So if we can get SoFi somewhere a little bit lower, near 14, I think that's a name that we'll have to consistently look at every time it gets down there. So I'm going to put a bid around 14.10 and see what happens there. And there goes Softy. Softy's on the on my sticky note for 330. So there goes Softy. Battles around there, taking out 330 right now. Battled to the bottom there yesterday at 324. Wow, what a great trade that would have been. And then this morning, for some reason, bouncing off 327. And again, I don't even really notice that, as there it goes right to the upside. Nice little rocket ship here for Mr. Softy. And
when you said 7%, and I looked over and it was a SoFi, and I'm like, anything that was too far overextended to the downside, I'd look to be buying, I think. Affirm didn't quite get to 100. Obviously, 7% didn't happen, so let's get that out of the way. Affirm did not get to 100. It got to 101, but look at the wick bottom on Affirm.
Really?
And then look at this consolidation up at the pre-market high. This is 106, which, by the way, was oddly enough the same price, which, well, I shouldn't say oddly enough. This is the 105, 106 level, previous support. I think that's why I liked it for a dip buy, which is like the last of the really, really high valuation names that I've even bought. And we're right back here, so it's back to flat. But if 106 gets taken out, this looks all the ways towards a bit of a breakout. You get a wick bottom, hopefully consolidation and higher than a 106 long break. I'll take it if it comes. It's not there yet, but I want to be ready on the off chance that we do get another dollar here in Affirm. And look, I'd rather see it break momentum, break the downward momentum, hold the low, and then break back out. Instead of just trying to pick a spot to go into the long, I want it to actually be breaking out. GRTX, we took another leg out for profit. I can leave it on the 15-minute chart here just to show you the rest of the trade. This will be my last out in front of the current low, and one of the reasons why is because if it takes this bottom out here, down around $3, I think it's headed down to $2.75 and then to $2.50. So we're going to hold out for that. BFRI. Yep, it took out that 720 level. I really thought this was going to pop again. Like, I really thought this was going to be heading right up towards that 775, and then I'd be getting the short off of that. Instead, it flushes, retakes the pre-market low, the pre-market high that I was short in front of, and now I'm short in front of it again. So back to where we started on BFRI, and sending you guys back to the big screen with Brennan for Happening Now.
Hey guys, 10 o'clock this week brought to you by Masterworks.io. Here we go, back in negative territory, the 0.25% for the S&P, the Dow, 0.3 to the downside, the Russell, all three of them, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, all to the downside today as well. There's the NASDAQ composite and 100, 0.4, 0.33 for both of those. As we thought, kind of a muted session so far ahead of the Fed coming up at 2 o'clock this afternoon. A couple of things we were discussing pre-market, CFVI, trying right now to bounce off of some level. Some levels, anyways. If you zoom out a little bit on the daily chart, there is a bit of a support area, 11.5 up to 12. And then Nucor, Sean was just mentioning this, but wanted to mention there was a huge volume alert that came off there at 112 when we did break 2-day lows once again for Nucor. As I said, Masterworks bringing you Happening Now this week. Masterworks allows people like you and me to invest in the same artworks the ultra wealthy have access to, artworks that are made available for investment from artists such as Banksy, Picasso, and many, many more. Paintings with their own capital and files the paintings with the SEC, which allows them to securitize each individual painting. Contemporary art has outpaced the S&P 500 by a staggering 174% between 1995 and 2020, and has been off limits to the average investor until now. Go to masterworks.io, guys.
Banksy in his house, getting that little mention in there. Thank you guys in the chat, best community ever. Moderna on the move. Look, it's only 4%. on Moderna right now, but obviously putting in a rather large spike. You just saw here, like on volume, it just took out 290 and then sort of came right back. So right up at that 290 level, almost a $20 move from bottom to top here. And Moderna, oh my goodness, my daily chart is hating me. My 15-minute chart's also hating me. Moderna, if you want to look at that key 300 level back here on the daily, I think that could be your next resistance point. I'm just saying to myself, I'm looking for some of these longs to come in. The CRM bid never hit. NVIDIA never hit, which would have been fantastic. I mean, there's a 50 period down there. I thought we'd retest that 280. Doesn't quite come in. Now it's starting to bounce off a little bit. Affirm, which I was just looking to catch if it could make a bit of a breakout. It just pulled back again. If it gets to that 100 level, I'll still buy in front of 100 on Affirm. Otherwise, it's that 106 break. So it's just the shorts that are all sort of sitting in the money and working for me. Ocugen, of course. Ocugen has a history of if it doesn't break out, it just fades. So you always want like a breakout trade in Ocugen or just sort of short it in front. And it's sort of bouncing off 475. And I have a bid sitting right here in front of 75. Like 77 to 80 has been the bottom. I'll try to get some out in front of that instead of behind it at 75, and then see if we can hold on to the rest. If Ocugen falls all day long, we'll gladly oblige it. Tesla, which I was also watching here, see if it could get back up to that 975 level. Looks like it wants to retest the low as well. So 950 very much in play for Tesla. As far as key levels of support for Tesla, you're not really seeing any until you get to 900. That's the thing. Like your 900 is the obvious one, and then you have yesterday's bottom. That's pretty much it. Those two levels for Tesla. The first of which didn't even get tested yet. So 930 would be the first place I would step in if I look to buy Tesla. Otherwise, you're waiting for breakouts to be happening, and that it came close to that breakout. It just never quite got there.
Okay, yeah, just quickly here, if Rob, if you can check the chat there quickly, I'd like to, maybe we could do something. Okay, so we are going to get another bit of shares here if Roblox does come back up. So we'll see, back down to this 95 area. It just thought about it. It got to 96 and change right there. So I think that that's something that maybe we want to look at. And I do have a bid. Let me just tell you where my bid is. 95.20 for some pretty serious shares. If we break back below, 94 at that time. This is the thing. Like I could put on some shares at, okay, that's fine. So I was gonna say, I was just asking if we had to reload it up because
just do the impression.
Because I'm reloaded down here on AMC. Better. So there it is. We just did buy that right now on AMC. It just came all the way back down. Like we were like, yeah, baby. And this is the thing. Like you can have diamond hands all you want. But honestly, when those diamonds turn into coal, like it is right now on AMC, and again, it's not a huge position. We're not going to sit here and act like it was because we got out of 2/3 right there. But that would have been a good spot to get out. Really no reason to get out there at 24.30. I really thought that we'd have some consolidation maybe up here near 40s or 50s. So I don't feel like that's a horrible decision. But again, there's the reload right now. So we are back into AMC now. And we'll do the same thing again. If we can get something out around 75, we'll do that for 20 cents, and then hopefully we can bust it out to the upside, and we'll just wait to see that. Wow, another name that's near a very key price. Without looking, Neil, what do you think Neo is at?
Well, you said key price of $40.
Yeah, well, try $30. So right now, there it is to the downside. Neo just continues to get absolutely cracked, down to $30. That is getting absolutely killed. Yeah, it was.
It's doing this.
It was probably. Yeah. It's doing that. It's getting slapped around. We talked about all the Chinese names, Baba, Baidu, things like that, and there it is. Neo has no defense against this market coming to the downside. This might be one to pick up, guys. Neo, Xpeng, things like that.
I'm looking at Xpeng right now.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, Brendo?
ESSC, crazy mover yesterday. This got up to 26, if you remember. Ends the day at 13, so a huge plunge. Back to the downside for ESSC, trying to break to the upside again.
Oh my goodness! So right at my favorite number is where Xpeng is at, 42.
Oh my God!
And that's a pretty decent level on the daily chart as well. So if Xpeng can kind of consolidate here, I'm definitely going to like it. I'm being patient as all you know what in trying to pick up some of these bottoms and Affirm. Look, I like Affirm two ways. One of them was the breakout, obviously didn't happen. You're right back to 102, so we're getting pretty close to that 100 defense. 101.60 is the current low of the day, so it could actually break that low, and then you're still holding the 100 level. But I'm going to pop my bid down here, 102. I feel pretty comfortable. I can give it a couple of dollars, even if it breaks the low. It's now shown you that the resistance up here, that's like $3 to 105, and I like the breakout at 106. So risk to reward's not too bad if I can catch the 102 along here on a firm. And then on my radar now, obviously, just 2 seconds ago is going to be that Xpeng down around that 42. But I want to see it consolidate first. Otherwise, we're just going to hold on for dear life to some of the longs we already have. A couple of people in the chat were mentioning another EV name. Lucid is already broken back up, but it just put in a failure at $40. If it can hold VWAP here, let me show you the 15-minute chart. If it can hold VWAP, that support that it had at the bottom, pretty good higher low to be putting in. And if it can hold VWAP, you are set up for a breakout, which I think is a bit of a trap, given the high. Yeah, I mean, given the high that it had at 41.25. If I could find that one,
I have it actually. I hit it by accident.
How do you have it,
bro? Don't get me started. Here we go.
It's a trap.
There it is. Can you even hear that? Like we got it.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
Yeah, there it is. So I had it. Did you have it as well?
No, I don't have it.
Okay, so we both. I was gonna say we both hit it. Okay, let's just move on from having things and not having things. We are gonna get this fixed at the end of the day. We're gonna get all of our animations back here ready for the open. We are the closing show. Sorry. All right. So yeah, you were talking about Lucid yesterday. I wish my trade showed up here yesterday for Lucid. That's actually what I went back to see. Oh, here it is. It did show up. Yay! So here we go, Neil. Yesterday we bought Lucid 37.40 and wound up getting it out at 41. That was nice. A $4 winner for Lucid, but we scalped a little bit out. So I just wanted to see where it was in relationship to where we bought yesterday. We still have a little bit of work to do. I still like it better down here to defend that 37 area, but Lucid right now, we crushed it yesterday, and I just wanted to see what was going on because you're still down that 3%. It was a monster move back up there yesterday. And again, remember,
and that's why I think it's a trap.
It's a trap.
I know. It's because that 41, like it took out 41 right here in the afternoon and then came right back, and that's their pre-market high. So if it takes out 40, or even this high of the day, like if it takes out this 40.72 high of the day, look at the failure. Like if it doesn't get through this 41.30, which by the way, 41.30, I can go right back to that being a key level that we were trading off of last week. 41.30 was this low. When it broke that one to the downside, it was a great short through 41.30, and now 41.30 is your resistance level. So I would resist the temptation to take a breakout through this high of the day because that 41.30 looms. I'd almost faded off those levels. It's nowhere close to it, but hey, you want to have a plan of action so that when it comes to that price, you know what you're doing. And for me, it's not going to be long Lucid through the high of the day. It would actually be fading any failed break and giving it to 41.30. BFRI, we're back into the short on that stock. So, we're short, then we're long, we're back into the short. Let's go back over the chart. It just got up to VWAP. I reloaded some shares there in front of VWAP. First out is going to be on a 7 break. Look to just take the momentum over towards, hard to see, but right at 9:30, there was a spike down to 685 before it started its run up when I lost on the short. So it's right in front of that 685 that I want to be taking a couple of legs out. So call it like the 90s and then maybe the high 80s for BFRI.
All right. Yeah, what I want to talk about here, I was just looking. Sometimes we get, it's a little overwhelming. Like Neil and I see a square. Wow, what the?
Where's square?
Yeah, 165. It's down. It's so just on my board today. These are stocks that I look at, right? Let's call these up. These are stocks that either I hold or am looking at. You're going to be talking about these quite often. I don't know. Can you guys go full screen here? It might be easier for these guys to see this. There it is. So this is just an e-signal watch list. So look at this. These are stocks that I'm either holding or looking at. Yes, Roblox, go. And look at this. So this is the 52-week lows. Look, Peloton, 52-week low. Clover, just notice the names. Peloton, Clover, UiPath, Snapchat, Square, Donkey Kong, MindMed, Tilray, CGC. Weed is the same as Tilray. What did you say?
No, you said Donkey Kong, but everyone that watches knows who you're talking about, but like DraftKings is what he meant.
Yeah. No, I meant Donkey Kong, but in
I know.
Yeah. Okay, so if you don't know anyway, okay, who cares? The point is that all of these names that are really not high quality companies, most of them recent releases into the market, all getting crushed. And we talked about that earlier, and that you need. I
got one for you.
Go ahead.
Remember, I was like, look, I'll tell you, I'll be the first person to say that I sold some Silvergate, which was a fantastic stock last year. I'm not going to complain a single iota about how well it did, but now I'm going to complain about it. At 150 to buy Coinbase of all things, which I took no profit on when it made its run. And then when Silvergate was up at 200, I spent like every single day saying this is ridiculously high. And now it's back. This is back at the 200 period. Now, the only reason why on a day trade I won't just auto step into this buy is twofold. One, I'll double check here, but we're just on the way back down. Bitcoin back on the way down to 47,000 and looking relatively weak. The other part of that is this is a tricky day trading stock. It's got this iceberg at 136, and it's done 135,000 shares. So I'd almost prefer if it broke this 136 level, and then you just caught a couple of people selling, and then you're able to get like a 33 or a 34. Just sitting in front of that, you're basically saying, I'm going to lose $3 if it even takes out that buyer at 136, and your support is down here at the 200 period at 130 bucks. So I'd rather have Silvergate at 133, 134 instead of this 136 level, and that's sort of. There's so many names like this that kind of went up really, really fast and are coming down almost as quickly as they got up there. And you got to be careful because you don't want to jump in too early on a Fed day. This may not be the perfect timing to get into some of these names. If you like the company long term, there's really no point. That's going to be too bad. But I'm going to sit now on the bid in Silvergate, not in front of this 36, but in front of that 33 level, and just make sure out of the corner of my eye that Bitcoin doesn't do something crazy. There's no chance I want this bid if we're through like 45,000 or something, which I don't think is likely, but I definitely wouldn't want it if that were the case.
Yeah, 47,000 right now. Yeah, a little nuts.
It could happen.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Anything could happen here today. Thank you guys for all the nice comments on the chat. Glad you guys are enjoying the show as we enjoy bringing it to you every day. AMC, what? Oh my God, I'm bidding 23.10 again. That is crazy. Like I thought we would get that fill, but we didn't. We're bidding 23.10. It goes to like 23.11. So let's adjust our price there because we were trying to buy dips. You know that. Darn it, man. That would have been nice, man. We're trying to get reloaded down there. And there we go. Just like we're lucky to get that Palantir bid, I feel like we just missed that by literally 0 pennies. We're at 10. And I'll tell you what gateway we're on, Arca. So Arca, no friend of mine, no more. But I don't even know why I was on Arca. So we'll sit there still. I'll put up to maybe I'll put it to 23.15 or so. See if we can get that hit going through. Yeah, Snapchat's at 45. Let's have a look at that. Snapchat now at 45. That's a key level. Oh, we talked about NEO at 30. That should have been one that we looked at because it just bounces off 30. The low of the year, 29.66 on NEO. And we're at that level right now. And Snapchat already bounces. Wow, okay, yeah, I can't trade that already.
Oh, wow.
A big bounce back to VWAP. But hey, man, maybe this is a nice short rate here, 45.30 into 45.30. I'm going to short Snapchat right now into this level right there. Just look at the chart sort of upside down here. I do want the market to rip. There's no doubt about that. But we do take a short here in Snapchat, I think might be worth it. So we'll give it to 45.50 here. Let's take a Snapchat short.
Yeah, I finally got a good bounce on XPeng here at 42. So it looks like it held that level, took it out one time, 41.92 it got to. That's a decent enough bounce and a consolidation that I'm now going to look to enter into this one if I can get it. Oh yeah, we just got like 42.35. I'll give this to the low of the day. I know it was NEO that Sean mentioned, but you guys have probably known for a while. Every time it comes up, we just sort of say, if you're trading in one of the Chinese names, which again, long-term, definitely dangerous holding any of these Chinese-listed stocks, XPeng has the better, has had the better result, even in that space. BFRI, I got that first leg. We lost the short the first time. We made some back on the. We made some back on the long. Hopefully we can hold green. I just got back to green on the stock when it took out 7. I have another bid down here at 686, like we mentioned. And then next legs down will be pretty obvious. This 670, which was the low in the pre-market. Well, the low in the pre-market since we came on air, obviously, at about like at 9 o'clock here. And then if it breaks this, you can kind of see on earlier trading, it was down to that 640 to 650 mark. Those will be the next targets to the downside on BFRI. As I mentioned, XPeng, the only thing I'm long, I never got the CRM. Affirm never came down to 100, although it could take out 106 for a breakout trade. So it's just XPeng. I don't know why that didn't just switch. There we go. And we just got into, I'll take some of this out in front of VWAP and that 43 mark and then see if we can hold on to it. I'd love to find a long that we can hold up until that Fed, 2 o'clock sort of announcement. I usually, and I know not every trader is the same, but I know we kind of usually feel this way. A lot of times you want to trim or even get flat in front of Fed announcements when you're momentum trading. Your levels don't matter as much when the decision comes out. It'll just kind of blow through each way. So you want to take your profits a lot of times, the day trader going into that number. Brendan is at the big screen, 10:20 already. Let's get you the small cap recap.
Hey guys, yeah, busy morning. Lots to discuss in small cap world. We'll talk about GRTX here. Again, I mentioned the top end of this range to get into the gap Same as yesterday, 340, 360 to 375 was the top. Gave you a nice retest of 340 just off the open there. We're down to 290. I just said to Miss V, bet we get down here by the end of the day. So we'll see where this thing's trading by the end of the day. That's still the same stock. There was GMTX was kind of one and done for me. And then BFRI, same thing as Neil was just describing. Short initially, flipped to the long side, gave you a nice, actually two different opportunities on the long side for BFRI, guys.
All right. I still can't believe that we, we'll have some hot dog parties here because AMD has been a very, very profitable stock for me today. Opposite day compared to yesterday. But we just, we were waiting at 10. We didn't get the fill. So just like we got that Palantir long, we missed that bottom, which would have then been 70 cents. So it actually would have been better than Palantir, but we do miss that fill, but we'll just take it out at 70. I mean, it just rips upside there. So we're taking it out again, man. We'll take it out for another 20 cents. That's exactly where we wanted it. We talked about getting long at 50 and taking it out at 75. So there it is right there. We just had to wait for it, and we tried to get reloaded there. So that was a good idea, but we didn't get filled. So now we're up to 23.15 if it dips back down. I don't think that will happen. Check back in on Snapchat. Of course, as soon as we decide to go short in Snapchat, kaboom, kaboom, this happens and the market starts to go to the upside, and Snapchat kind of tests that 50. It goes up to 43. So right now we are short Snapchat, a decent position, down up here onto this level. We'll see if the market does fade out, man. I do believe Snapchat does collapse here. So it's at its 52-week low right now. Previously, past 52-week low, well, 44.92 is the 52-week low. So it already made that today. And now the low is 44.14. So we'll see if it can keep going downside. Yes, Roblox. No outs for this one, but we'll go Yahoo on this one. And we will fix the sound. The sound.
Too loud.
Well, the sound, I mean, that's the problem. And Lucas is mentioning it right now. We did have some complaints about the sound being different on certain animations. So we'll talk about that as a group. I mean, right now, nothing we can do. Yeah. We'll fix that later. 98.99. So here we go. Roblox, $3 in the money. So this has been a good trade for me. I decided we were waiting for 95.50s. We talked about that. That never came back in. So I upped that to 96. So right now we'll see. But the future is starting to rip upside a little bit now. And there goes Roblox, $3 in the money. We're very, very close. I told you if we get a 99 print, then we're positive on the name, despite getting smacked down there. But we did buy more shares back and took this thing back to the long side. You just got to avoid making those mistakes. Just a quick check on crypto. I know Neil talked about SI there quickly. Let's pull up the crypto portfolio. Never nice when all these charts are red and all this is red, but Avalanche, right now the only up stock over the last 24 hours. And I said stock, but we mean, of course, coin. Bitcoin 47 holding, it looks like. Ethereum 37.5, so that's pretty good. Solana, Cardano, I mean, there's a whole bunch of these down here that are moving around. I'm heavily invested.
What's the best today?
In the top, nothing, Avalanche. Dogecoin yesterday got a nice bump up. And if you look at the last 7 days here, Dogecoin, like who would have thought that would have been the best one? But Dogecoin only down 1% in 7 days. So other than that, everything else, Elon Musk yesterday tweeting, that was ridiculous also, that their merchandise is going to be sold. You can, like what merchandise? You can buy that with Dogecoin. Like what is it, like a Tesla hat or something you could buy?
What about the whistle?
I love the whistle. I think
the whistle. Okay, here's the thing. The whistle
sold out.
I wouldn't pay for it personally, but it looks pretty darn cool, man. Like I don't know.
What do you need a whistle for?
You don't need a whistle. That's the reality. I have no idea what I'd even use a whistle for. I don't have a dog. If I use the whistle to like call my daughter for dinner, my wife would be a good one. My wife would slap the taste out of my mouth because that would just be mean. Although it'll probably work. I want to get to ISIG, which is. This is on the move again, halted to the upside. This went from $16 to $20 in just a couple of minutes. It's on a volatility halt. It'll be open, should be open back up at about 10.29. Indicated open right now is 22.90. It halted, 23 now. It halted at 20.18 after running $4 and now indicating that it's going to open up a couple of bucks higher. So back on the radar. Don't even have available shorts here for ISIG here at Day Trade the World. I'm going to see if I can't get the pay for short. It gave me a quote of 14 cents, but then said unavailable. Huge key levels that start to come up here. The first being that 21 level. And look at these failed breaks. With a failed break at 19.5, we plowed through that. It was a failed break on Monday at 21. If it gets through that, and then fails again here at that 2250, that could be a nice area for a potential short. But you see what happens when it makes a top. The capitulation is usually ridiculous, and you're talking not 10%, you're talking 20% pullbacks, which I would love to be a part of there. BFRI, which, this is one of those ones where I thought it had the juice for the long trade on the reversal. Obviously, it has started to come back in. I did reverse short. Come on. BFRI, not the other way, not BRFI. And now it's through that $7. I took the next leg out, 685. This is your 670, and then from there, looking down towards that 640 area. So it looks like the reversal is pretty good. We started shorting around this level and then lost. The long reversal. I didn't get the short off of $8. I talked about not chasing it. I could have chased it down to 750. I waited for confirmation through that turnaround price at 730 even. So BFRI working. What's not working anymore? Well, it's still in the money. But XPEV, which I thought should be at VWAP by now. The NASDAQ still pretty much holding up at that move. It turned at 42.75, and I'm sitting on the north end of that. So if it pulls back in, I'm actually looking to get more shares down around 42.30, and I'd probably load a few more at 42 as well. But I never got that first target in front of VWAP just yet. So XPEV in the money, though not trading as strongly as I would have liked to have seen.
Yeah, I was looking at AMD here, as it's been super strong. I mean, you talk about something that's kind of leading the market here. It's definitely going to be AMD and NVIDIA as well, starting to make moves to the upside. I wanted to buy more NVIDIA today. So, yeah, that's 286, 287. Last time we bought this was 291. I'll talk in a minute here. Okay, so 291 or so. AMD, NVIDIA, both pulling up today. So good moves there. That's AMD chart still. Good moves here for everything. Very similar chart. 289, we've gotten stopped out. We didn't get stopped out, but that's where the momentum kind of stopped. You had some wick tops there up to 290. So that's where the sellers are. They're up here, 289, 290. So we know that because, again, it tries to push, stops, and drops. So we know that there is some, I guess, resistance up there at 290. So if you are on NVIDIA, I want to get longer down here if we do fade in. We've talked about buying some more Roblox on a dip down here. We are already short Snapchat. And I think NVIDIA, again, is probably something to look at. Palantir's not really moving. Microsoft's not moving. Wow, BABA's about to crack 120 as well. And then I am really interested also in NIO, as I don't know if that wick happened, but we are very, very close to 30.50 right now. Let's go over to somebody.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. BlackBerry, guys, just saw a huge volume spike again, back to 880. We're back to day lows immediately, though. Heads up on BB. We talked about it in the pre-market there. Yeah, weak stock overall, back to basically where we were yesterday for BlackBerry. It is 10:30. We'll get a quick check of how things in Europe are shaping up. 1 hour left in the day, Miss V. What's up?
Hey, Brandon, European markets are mixed. All eyes on upcoming Fed's decision. Support services firm DCC trading in London is up around 8% after acquiring U.S. Elmo Corporation. JP Morgan also raised price target on DCC. Back to you.
Yeah, negative session so far here as well, but only just 0.3. We'll take it, guys.
So, obviously, as ISIG, we had no locates. I told you guys we couldn't short. I got a quote that I would have paid 14 cents a share, but we didn't have the locates to day trade the world even. And it was indicating to all the world that it was going to open up at that 22. And then right at the last minute, and even the last few seconds there, it ends up flipping to actually opening to the downside. And that's dirty, obviously, but that's part of the games. And the only thing to come of this is it's a bit of a learning experience, I think, for everybody, is you can always go to the halt trade page. I still have it up here, and look for that quote resumption time. Now, volatility halts are 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So when you're looking for the indicated open price, if you have that data available to you, watch out for maybe the last second for a flip like that. And if you have the ability to cancel an open order to the long side when it's trying to trap you by the last second, opening at 1960 like it did, below that 2018, if you can get your cancel in, that's one thing to watch for. So if it's going to be 5 minutes, look for that indicated open to change in that last 10 to 15 seconds and try to avoid that carnage that it just pulled on you there. Somehow it didn't halt to the downside. Despite this crazy flush that you see, I'm not really sure how that's even. it just, I mean, they opened at 1960 and made a low at 1725 in a matter of seconds. So I'm not sure why it didn't halt to the downside, but it didn't. Brendo.
Remember on that one, I was just double checking. It is this one, ISIG, 1.06 million on the free float for that one, guys.
And then open down. Dirty move on that ISIG. Go ahead.
I was going to say we're approaching NEO all-time lows one more time here. It's saying 30.34 was the print, but I don't see that. I have e-signal as being 30.48. So we'll see. Again, we do print dark pools here, so a lot of charting won't use those as like official lows or highs, and neither will I. So and even that that one didn't work either. So a break here of 50, I guess that's 48, yeah. So a break of 50, we'll test it. This one will not be a very long trade. If it either breaks and works, or we'll get out if it does pop back up here to like 80s or so. So we're gonna watch out for NEO. And there it is, man. We finally did take a nice little winner here on Snapchat. It comes right down to VWAP and we get out, man. We got some out at 12. So of course our short is 27. We take 15 cents. We hopefully can crack even lower than that now. That would be Snapchat one more time. Yeah, 30.90 or so would be our out on NEO if we do get that fill. It's Brendan again.
Just seeing on down detector here, some big names just popping up on the downside of things. So this is downdetector.com. So these lines will pop up when people are reporting an issue with the service. So Twitch, DoorDash, AWS, even Facebook just popping up, Amazon, Hulu, and Slack. Well, not Hulu. Take that back. But the rest of them reporting issues right now, guys.
Okay, so so hopefully Twitch is down and more people are coming to YouTube.
Exactly. I mean, it's basically everything except for YouTube. Yay. Go Google.
Go Google,
That's what we're talking about.
For not using AWS. They're using their own, I would guess, right? So hopefully that's... I don't know if it's an AWS outage.
I mean, look, man, AWS, they just went out, and you know what kind of carnage that caused. I mean, it just goes to show you, like, there's a few big services and companies that if they have an issue, it's like, what are we even doing? We're kind of stuck for a few days. I mean, that Roblox thing, although it was like a hold my beer, because
Roblox was.
I don't know. I don't play it, but I mean, apparently, if you're into it, it was a disastrous weekend where people had to do things like play with their friends and read books.
But go outside.
Guess what's positive on the session?
Roblox.
Okay. Well, I don't know, but
no, not even close.
Affirm back and forth, trying to get to positive. That 106 has not been taken out yet. 105.97 the current high. So I would have liked to buy the dip. I can go ahead and cancel that. I'm probably not going to get it. And if I do, it probably means I've already lost on a breakout long. If 106 breaks, I'm now into I want that long trade. I want it either breaking out or off the low. I'm not going to try it in the middle. I want the momentum of it taking this level out, double bottoming, and then I think it can get to this at least this 109 first. So first target will be like at 108, and then we're going to look back towards this 112 where the players dwell, or where there was afternoon resistance on Monday, which would be much more accurate to say. You should never trade things off of song lyrics or names of groups. That wouldn't make any sense. Although, I mean, traders are human beings a lot of times, and every time I look at a chart of Bitcoin and notice the fact that that bottom was at 42,000 and then that high was at 69,000, you can't help but chuckle. Sometimes trading at key levels is not that difficult to do if you understand the psyche of people trading. 106 breakout on a firm, likely the next long. I still have yet to get a single target out on XPeng that just can't seem to get to VWAP yet.
So new position alert, Donkey Kong. So DraftKings there. We'll take this short and we'll see what happens. So back up here to 27.50, and again another name that just cracked. And I just feel, again, for every bad call we have probably like 5 bad ones and 1 good one. Selling DraftKings at $62 was something that I should put on my wall because like this has just been like, I cannot believe we were able to get some out there at 60, all of it actually, at $62 there. And I have not bought back in, and it's just been like an absolute disaster story here for DKNG, let alone Penn, let alone some of these. I mean, I guess Penn's probably the same. Like all these companies, man, just getting cracked. You know, I didn't even buy back. Like we were talking about buying some here at $30, $32, but no, there's no point. You cannot be in these names right now. I'll say that over and over and over again. I just don't think they're investable at these levels, especially with the change in Fed hawkishness, and you're going to see that today. They start to taper, man, more than expected expected, you're going to see an epic collapse in this market like you've probably never seen before unless you've been around some of those days. So let's wait to see what does happen today. Join us back at 2 p.m. Neil and I will be live trading that, so with Brendan as well. And then Trader Pratt and Ms. V will be on Market Movers right after the show, which is in 20 minutes. So that should be really exciting. And what I'm really excited about is we are getting very, very close right now for Roblox to break back above 99 and put us back into the positive on this stock here today. And really, I can be embarrassed, when we trade here live, a lot of the times, like I already have 53 fills, right? There's going to be some trades that we make that are just wrong and some reads that are absolutely horrible, like getting out of Roblox down here. But we bought back in and now it's ripping back to the upside. So what should be my trade of the day and my number one stock, I'm fighting to get back to positive here on it. But hey, that's going to happen. Like who else trades as many times as we do? Like you could sit there and watch other channels where they'll just pump one or two different stocks, one or two different ideas. That's great, but we're trying to show you guys the breadth of the market and trade some different names here. And I'm pretty proud of the success, obviously, that we've had. I had a perfect October and November. So we'll see what happens here today, trying to get back to positive on Roblox. And then Snapchat not really doing anything. This is the price we're short at, so we'll wait for that. Hopefully, we can get back to VWAP and we'll be able to get out. If it breaks above 50, we're out of that one. And then DraftKings right now. Oh, I almost got that. I'm at 25. So again, am I going to miss this by a penny again? So I'm at 25. It went to 26 there. So we'll see if DraftKings, 27, sorry, on the bid. Hopefully one more swoop down and we'll get out of half of this one for a small win, man, just 15 cents. And then we'll see if it can crank down. I mean, that's right where VWAP is. So hopefully we can get out there and then we can crank back below 27. And hopefully we're still in that name as that happens. DraftKings all-time low.
And what an absolute, what a great fill this was. I was complaining about not getting the rest of X there,
man.
And I was sitting on the bid. Basically, it's the same price, and this is wicks down, fills at 42.30. I can't call it a reload because I never actually got any shares out in front of VWAP, so technically speaking, I was just adding to the position here. But still, it's close enough to a reload that I would hit the key if I had it. Obviously, I don't have that. But if we break back out, the market's looking pretty strong here, right? Like you're actually getting a pretty sizable and sustained bounce in the NASDAQ, almost back to positive territory. So I like this over a NEO, as you guys probably have heard at nauseum, and that's why we picked it. I got the Affirm breakout. I'll give that one some room. I'm not taking any profit till $2, and I'm even looking 3 or 4, and would like to hold that till 2 o'clock, so I got to give it at least $1.50. Back to Brendan, who's got more for you.
Now flat. Yeah, I was just going to mention, guys, some energy stocks popping up there. At 10:30, crude oil is a bigger draw than expected. First off, it was a drawdown. That was unexpected, and a much bigger one as well than forecast. So 70 just breaking back to the upside for crude oil.
Go Chevron.
Yeah, let's go. Some of these oil names we've talked about. Chevron, I think that's the highest quality name to be in there if you are in anything. I think Chevron's a good little look there for most people. So AMC, again, back up 8 cents, trying to go. I mean, there's nothing we can do. We just got to wait for this. Hopefully it continues to make some moves and we can get out for a nice little profit here on AMC. As there it goes. We are now 10 cents in the money, obviously waiting for more, waiting to buy some at the downside as well in case that does come through. So that's Roblox right now. That's AMC right now. Other than, oopsies, I just canceled the wrong offer. That's okay. So we'll wait for that. Looks like right now our Snapchat may not snap up as much as we thought it would. So we'll wait for Snapchat to try to do something here. It's just kind of bouncing around. That's that play. We did get our DraftKings, so a little face slap action right there, as we do get the DraftKings at 25. So that's another one, another victory for us. As there it is, man. Roblox, we're not positive on this name yet, but getting very, very close. Up to 99 right now on Roblox. So we are in the money now, $4. I don't have, now that I look, I don't have any offers out on this name. So hopefully we can continue to make some moves to the high side here on Roblox. And I'm looking at 100. And after that, I mean, maybe let's just be realistic here. If we can get something out around 101, 102, I mean, that would be something that I would definitely
I got to make a point here. So someone just said, how can you buy XPeng and not Lucid? So we're day trading here. There is 0% chance that buying a dip in XPeng on a day trade is reflective of preferring the company to Lucid. Like, I'll be the first to tell you, like we've said, I would much prefer, long term, I'm only in U.S. names for electric. And as a matter of fact, I'm not even that big diversified. It's GM and it's Tesla. I'm not even any bigger than that. And some infrastructure style plays there that I do like as well. But this is just me liking the price action. I like that 42 level. It gave a failed break at that 42 level that I like, meaning it took out the bottom on volume, wicked right back up, and immediately found support. So trapping some shorts on a break of 42, that's a good setup. I then took that first cluster above 42.25. It gave me that price on a reload. I can play that to VWAP and then to 43, which was a resistance. So it's just liking the setup more than anything else. Like Lucid, again, if I had to pick one to put in the long-term account between Lucid and XPeng, it's not a choice. I would pick Lucid, but this is just about the day trade. And you got to know what's going on in individual sectors. We just brought you oil. Brendan just brought you what's happening in oil. Now you can see what's going on across the board as we go to Sector Watch at the big screen.
Yeah, it's interesting. We'll show you, there we go. The energy group here still in the red, big time in the red, but bouncing off the lows for some of these right now. Apache, Oxy, Devon, BKR, Halliburton, all still leading the way to the downside. It was a little bit worse than that before that number. We'll shift over to down here. Materials, there's Nucor, we talked about 8% now, FCX, LYB, and ALB among the leaders to the downside in the materials group, 3.6% for them. Tech shares basically flat. I mean, it's kind of teetering depending on what time you look at it, a little bit higher, a little bit lower. Software makers, most of them are positive. DXC, EPAM standing out to the downside, offsetting some strength. Otherwise, semiconductors pretty red. Hardware equipment makers back to the upside, but nothing too exciting as we were predicting for today. These are the cruise lines over here, 4 to 5%. Travel names under pressure once again. So consumer discretionary to the downside. All of the hotels in here as well, about 2% to the downside. Apparel makers under pressure as well, back down about 2 to 3% along with the retailers. Healthcare stocks are strong. We talked about that positive move for Eli Lilly, up 8.1% now. Moderna being dragged along with it right beside it, 4% to the upside. And Pfizer there as well, 3.3%. So there are individual areas showing strength. Otherwise, though, yeah, basically dead flat ahead of 2 p.m., guys.
Yeah, I mean, that TPM number is just weighing over our heads right now, big time. Okay, so here we go. We are now short on NEO as it does break below 50. So let's see where we go now. These are new 52-week lows. I was going to say all-time lows, but obviously this name's been around for a while, so this is not the all-time low. But NEO right now back down to 30 bucks and change. We're short here 30.50. No real ideas to get this thing out. Let's just wait to see where we go from here. But it just did bounce off 40 there. So let's see. Here we go. NEO, hopefully a nice short as the market trying to pull back in here.
Absolutely, and man, that Eli Lilly is so incredibly strong. It's actually, I mean, forget about that. The daily chart, it's right here at this lower high, this 271. I think if it retests it, I'm probably going to want to at least think about like an afternoon or a lunchtime type of short, just on the basis that you get to some of the tech names sort of battling back here in NASDAQ, getting in that green. If it does get in the green, it's very, very close to doing so. And you start thinking about some of the, like your healthcare and your other sectors starting to reverse a little bit. And if you can play off of that level on the daily chart, I do definitely like it. BFRI starting to come back on us here. Well, back on me a little bit. That short trade, we're right back towards like 710. I'd only reload. I know initial entry was right around this price, but I'd reload at VWAP if I had to. I don't have to, but that's probably what I'd be looking. The other one that's starting to come back is that GMTX, which it got close to VWAP. I was very, very close to actually sort of adding to that one at about 310, 315, but I think I'll be a little bit more patient. Allow it to test right up at VWAP just because of this level here at 320. Like, I want to see if it can break VWAP, maybe stall out at 15 to 17, hold that 320 level, and then it can be a re-entry. So I'd rather enter on weakness as opposed to just sort of getting short as it's showing us some signs of strength. The volume, by the way, has not come back into that name at all. So it's bouncing a bit here, but on very, very low volume. So I think it's pretty secure. The one that I have to be worried about are the longs. I'm still pretty confident with the shorts that we have on. It's the Affirm long, which it broke that high of the day. We're now coming back into VWAP. Just to put it into context, on the 15-minute chart, like my first target is not until it gets up towards this high yesterday, a couple of bucks. So in context, it would have to retake VWAP for me to be too concerned. And then my out is pretty simple on XPeng. If it breaks low of the day, I'm out of XPeng. If it doesn't break the low of the day, I might even be looking to add to my position, catching a bit of a bounce. But always when I'm watching any kind of EV name, especially one of the Chinese ones or one of the higher valuations, they're all high valuations, you want to look at Tesla here as well. Because if Tesla breaks this low of the day, which currently sits at that 240, if 245 goes on Tesla, I don't see any way in heck that the XPeng is going to hold for the long. So the short's all pretty secure in that I'm sitting in, but the longs, that you have to watch out for.
There it is. Yeah, man. I mean, we are just crushing Neo right there on that short, man. Out. Our last out there, 25s. As we continue to make a move to the downside right now on NIO. Wow, just crush City on this one, continuing to fall here off that 30 break. Like, really happy that we had that trade come through there. It's finally a short that is starting to work. The market's thinking about nothing right now. I mean, you're only down 0.24. It's been pretty choppy back and around here, not doing much. We made some bottoms. We'll see. We're not near 16,000, but maybe we can get back up there. We'll see. Everybody at this point, you're only like 3 hours away now. So remember, the Fed is going to be at 2 p.m., so a little ways away. But I'm actually surprised. There's been a lot of good trades on tap today for all of us. So a good one. We did get reloaded here finally. AMC dips all the way down. We talked about getting it into here. We are waiting for 20. I mean, it sucks, like, but I'm going to wait for this 2250. Like, and again, we have a decent position on. I'm going to double that position up coming up soon as we get closer to 2250. I'll double this position up. We just made a bottom at 23, so let's put a bid like at 2280, something like that, and then use that 2250 as our out, because at that point, you know, that'll be about if it cracks down there, we'll lose on that about 60, 70 cents, which is obviously not great. So let's see what does happen here on AMC. But right now, we're long, 23.30. So it's not really that bad of a position. Our last bid there was 15. So we'll see if we can get back upside. I like this trade for the long haul here. Let's see what AMC can do. Hopefully, bouncing off that 22.50 or bouncing off 23 would be better. Microsoft back above 330 again here.
And yeah, I mean, I saw a couple of people in the chat talk about this, talk about the travel, not just the travel names, but specifically like Carnival Cruise Lines here in your cruise names. That is an ugly, ugly move down, but it is into some interesting support. Like the last time we had a big move in CCL to the upside, it was breaking out 1750. And it had that particular day, a 1720 support level, and the day before it, right down here on a failed breakdown at 17 even. So those levels are certainly going to be back into play. 1680 to 1720 would be your target area for a bit of a bounce. Just again, looking at from that support level down to this support. So probably 17 even, I think, is where you'd want to stick in any kind of a buy. I think we have our good friend at the desk. Yes, Brennan is being joined by one of our favorite guests.
Unfortunately. Yeah, Justin is back in the building. Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World marketing guy, back with us to talk a little tech today, to talk about some storylines that have popped up this week in the past couple of days of interest, kind of moving around a few stocks. I was just looking at Toyota Motor. We're going to talk about Toyota here, but TM in the U.S., it's in ADR, so it's going to be, you know, affected. The price will be affected by what happens in Japan overnight, but higher on the day. Good to see you, first of all.
Yes,
Welcome
thank you. Yeah.
Couple of new models to come here for Toyota.
All right, so Toyota, you know, they're making their entry into the EV space like everybody else. It kind of strikes me that auto manufacturers now are just becoming kind of tech companies with a transportation kind of, here's our product. But really the product that we're selling is technology. Yeah. So it's kind of it's interesting to see that switch as more and more mainstream auto manufacturers make the jump from fuel-powered vehicles to electric. Yeah. So Toyota jumping into the fray with the BZ4X, this pickup truck-esque vehicle that was. I mean,
it looks like a Tacoma to me.
It totally does.
Which I guess is what they're going for.
Yeah, I think they're generally trying to retain the same sort of shape of the existing models. I think it looks, I mean, I'm a truck guy. I think it looks awesome.
That looks great. It looks like the Rivian, kind of, even the R1T.
It does. It looks a lot like the Rivian. So certainly, you know, Toyota's looking at this and saying, what can we do from a product design perspective to kind of retain that familiar shape that we have with the vehicles that we currently have, but also how do we kind of take a little bit of wind out of the sails, so to speak, out of from some of the other companies. So,
right, and these are fully electric, like not hybrid. These are fully
electric from tip to tail, and looking to release 30 electric vehicles by 2030. So really ambitious plans on behalf of Toyota for sure, and definitely investing a lot of money. So, and they're saying they could launch an affordable electric vehicle in China by 2022. So, or in 2022, sorry.
Making moves.
Yeah,
definitely. This, if we could throw that back up there just quickly, thanks. This little FJ cruiser looking thing over here beside it, I think when these were actual fuel vehicles that were out a couple of years back, they did really well and sold a lot of them. So this is kind of a miniature version, it looks like, of an FJ cruiser, if you remember those from a couple of years back. So we shall see for Toyota. Let's talk YouTube. What's up with Disney Plus now wanting some more money?
So YouTube now fighting with Disney Plus. They're saying that if a new deal isn't inked by this Friday, YouTube TV subscribers are going to lose access to about 18 Disney-owned channels, including the Disney Channel, FX, ESPN, and local ABC stations. So, and National Geographic Wild, one of my favorite stations, certainly purveyor of great content. So we'll see what happens with that. If the deal doesn't go through, it looks like the price of YouTube TV is going to drop by $15 to $49.99. So, but that's only for for the time period when there isn't actually a deal. Certainly, when the deal kind of gets put back into place, that price will go up. It's with all of these things, right? Every time there's one of these arguments, it always comes down to money. So it's not really clear. No one's really saying about why it's happening, but you can put two and two together and get four and say, this is really about money. So.
And one of those things we were saying before we came on here, as more and more of these services come out and become available, it's just going to get more crowded and more of these fights will pop up, I'm sure. What's up with Tesla? Today.
What's up with Tesla today? What is not up with Tesla? Tesla, their Model 3 vehicle was involved in this is kind of a local news thing, but one of their Model 3 vehicles was involved in a crash in Paris, and there's no real idea of exactly what happened. Some people are saying it's not a technical issue, which is a very nice way of saying it probably was the driver's fault. But it's very unclear specifically what happened. They do know that one person unfortunately was killed and 20 people were injured. So it seems like this G7, which is Paris's largest taxi firm, is suspending the use of Tesla Model 3 vehicles for the time being until they can figure out, was this something related to the vehicle or was this something related to the driver? This isn't the first time that Tesla's kind of struggled with this, autonomous vehicle operations. There's been, some highly publicized crashes in the past. So, and certainly one with a gentleman who was playing a video game while he was driving, which isn't always the
Probably
smoothest.
not advised.
No, definitely do not recommend. 0 out of 10 stars. Do not do. So, so certainly an interesting one and very unfortunate too. It's the car thing aside, the loss of life when it comes to a vehicle is always very sad. So let's hope that they can get to a resolution and a determination as to what happened, and hopefully they'll be able to fix that. So.
It was interesting. I was reading about that story last night, in fact, and this company had gotten to a point where I think it was about 58% of their fleet, their entire fleet, was Tesla Model 3. So it's a big chunk, obviously, of their business will be at least partially interrupted for the time being.
For sure, and that's, and I like Tesla. I think they're a great company. They're doing some great things. But this is also the inherent danger with adopting a new technology too quickly. You end up with these kinds of situations where you invest in it and then you realize, I have to, essentially shelve that investment for a time period so I can figure out exactly what's going on. So there is always that. There's always a danger of being a first market mover. So.
Justin Kozach, Day Trade the World marketing guy. Check him out at TraderTV Justin on Twitter. Let him know what you would like to hear more about. He'll be back about 3 o'clock, 2:50, we'll say, this afternoon. We'll cover the Fed. We'll deal with that news, and then we'll talk some tech with Justin again coming up this afternoon. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Brendan.
Interesting day shaping up, guys.
Yes,
it's
sir.
definitely. If Sean's Neal's working and Tesla's below 945, you know that XPeng just stopped out. And there's some lows from a couple of days ago and last week that are going to start to come into play. Roku broke 200, 197 just last week. I mean, just recently was a low on Roku. XPeng on that wipeout day on the 6th last Monday, its low was at $41. All of those looking like they're going to come into play on a Fed day. Tesla, 930. I mean, I guess is the next level of downside we talked about. If it finds support there, then that could be good. But it's still 2 o'clock that we have to wait for here, Sean.
Yeah, you have to or you don't have to. I mean, you know, because right now we'll go unplugged here as NEO, we've just been cashing in all day. We got, no, not all day, in the last 10 minutes. Breaks through 30.50. We talked about that being the lows. Out. And then we hit the short again through 30. Got some out at 90, got some out at 85 or something there. And that's where we are now, 84, 83. Waiting at 75 now as this name just continues to get cracked to the downside. And there goes NEO. So, hey, I mean, I can't do much better than short 30-50, short 30s, and now go to the downside. Bidding right now 76 here. So a bid at 76. We'll see where that one goes. And then Donkey Kong, nicely 50 cents to the money on this one as well, as we have this trade right here, right at that high. So yeah, pretty happy with the trading so far. Let's go over to the big desk one more time.
All right, it's been a slow week on earnings, guys. There are a few notable names coming up either tomorrow morning or after market tonight. Here comes a few.
Adobe and Rivian. Oh, yeah, well, no one cares about Accenture. Yeah, look, it's Adobe and it's Rivian. Obviously, those are the two big ones. Rivian kind of gave some, when they came to IPO, they did give some numbers. So you do have a decent idea. And I think it might not move necessarily as much. But hey, their EV names are getting cracked here, as you've been seeing this morning. Well, this morning and this now at lunchtime as well, as Tesla just broke its low of the day, taking a few names with it, your NEOs and your XPEVs. So Rivian, post-Fed for a name like that, it's going to be pretty interesting to say the least. A couple of things before we get out of here and send you to Market Movers. And one of those is to find out what national day it is from Ms. V.
Thank you, Neil, and hey guys, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Please don't forget to like this video before you join Prad and me to continue trading this day. Of course, subscribe to this channel and share the link with all of your friends so more people can find out about our beautiful community. I'll see you in a minute, and happy National Pancakes Day, everyone. Cupcakes.
Oh man, I was excited.
Pancakes.
If it was pancakes, I would have been like, I'm having pancakes for dinner. Sometimes breakfast for dinner
but it's
is
not
like
Pancake Tuesday. That's the day that it would be. I don't know when that is.
It's always good pancake time.
February Pancake Tuesday.
I love pancakes.
Shout out to New Orleans as well. What was Neil just asked me what yesterday's was? Does anybody remember? I can't remember what. Monkey Day, and it was a lemur. Yeah, that's right. It was Monkey Day. So. Look, man, I don't think that was a real day. I mean, because like, why is it Monkey Day? Maybe is it the year of the monkey? I don't know. But like, why it's Monkey Day? Nobody will ever know. But it was a good day. Here we have. I had the gorilla one, but it's marked as something else. I don't know what it is. Anyways, who cares? But good day today so far. Thank you guys for watching. I mean, it's been fantastic. We're really super excited to get you over to Market Movers, and then we're back at 2 p.m. to trade live. I mean, listen, guys, please, like. AMC right now, ripping by the way, but who cares? Yeah, just send the link to all your friends because we're going to be trading that number live, and you guys, hopefully, you'll be able to see kind of some excitement in our voices and faces and trades. So we'll be here for 2 p.m.
Yeah, market's going to move, to be sure. You guys can expect that. So get your cupcakes ready because it's National Cupcake Day, even though I would prefer if it was pancakes. But let's send you on over to Trader Pratt and Miss V. Let's get to the Market Movers.
To Market Movers. I'm your host, Trader Prad. This is the beautiful Miss V.
Thank you, Brad, and hey guys, welcome back everyone. Another busy trading day. Please be active on the chat, ask us anything, and we would really appreciate if you like this video. Fed's decision is going to be announced at 2 p.m. Eastern today. Are you excited, Brad?
Yeah, can't wait. Honestly, I haven't even made a trade. I'm just waiting for the Fed meeting.
Do you have plans? Do you look at some particular names for Fed?
If red light comes in, I'm gonna go long futures. If green light comes in,
okay.
I'm gonna,